Visit Adidas.com and watch as your favorite athletes prove time and time again that impossible is nothing. See their amazing stories told by the athletes that live them. And enter to win tickets to an NFL game to see Reggie Bush live in action. It's all at Adidas.com.
All right, everybody, the weekend starts right now. This is the One Up Yours podcast for Friday, September the 14th, which is the luckier version of Friday the 13th.
No, that's Saturday the 14th.
No.
That was like the parody send-up of Friday the 13th in the 80s.
Oh, well, I wasn't alive then. I'm much younger than that.
Yes.
Moving right along.
And as you'll see on the blog and some pictures that I'll be posting in a little while, we have a all-star lineup here in the fabulous fifth floor studios.
First of all, you're here. And last week, you promised you weren't going to be here, and that I was going to get to control the podcast and populate it with whatever freaks I wanted to.
And so you chose me. Excellent. I'm on your freak list.
Turns out your trip got cut short, and you're back, and I'm glad to have you back.
And we'll actually talk about that in a minute, probably.
We will.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely. But more importantly than me being back, because he's back.
Behind the wheels of steel,
Mr. Andrew Pfister.
Let's have a toast to the return of Andrew Pfister.
You know what?
Cheers.
To Andrew Pfister,
Okay,
and to the thread that right now just got put down, One Up Yours, saved.
But what you can't see in that toast is we're toasting our nice red cups full of whatever, but then our special, very special fourth guest is toasting the only beverage he would drink if he was going to be on this podcast, which is a giant, 2-liter bottle of Smirnoff Ice.
How big is this?
It's huge.
It's a pint.
It's a pint. 8 fluid ounces of Smirnoff Ice.
The lucky recipient of this is none other than... You want to introduce him?
No, he's your special guest. I don't want to steal your
Why
thunder.
don't you introduce yourself?
Fear not in your eyes, darling, you can see the eyes in your eyes, your mind, staring down eternity.
Wow.
Wow.
Hopefully our master editor can hopefully that didn't just kill you, what just happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That
was awesome.
I need to even translate that. What that meant was, AKA, that was first Andrew Fitch.
Of course.
Who is one of our fine copy editors and part of the review crew here at Ziff Davis. And he was doing a stunning rendition of the Blue Dragon boss battle
yes.
by the lead singer of...
Deep Purple.
No, it's not Deep Purple.
Yes, it is Deep Purple, dude.
Okay, it is Deep Purple. I thought it was something else.
No. Come on, man. You're into REM and Orbital and all those.
I am into the... I thought it was the lead singer of...
No, it's Deep Purple, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's Deep Purple, man.
I thought it was Dokken.
No, no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dokken's different age group. Deep Purple's old school.
I thought it was Dokken.
Well, so
because
Don Dokken sounds nothing like that.
it ain't rockin' if it ain't Dokken.
I don't think anything sounds quite like that. But the reason I invited Fitch in, because he's explosive, as you just experienced. But
He's the least. Fuck me.
The second segment, which I prepared for everyone, is a giant preview of the Tokyo Game Show, which Garnet and I are both headed to next week.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of stuff's already leaked out. We know a lot of things. So we're going to run the gamut. We're going to talk about everything in the second segment.
I've been calling my insider industry contacts, making some deals, greasing some wheels. I got some predictions for you.
Oh, it's going to be good.
All right, so there you go. First segment, we're going to do what you've been playing like we always do. Second segment, TGS previews. And then in the third segment, it could well be the apocalypse because Shane has the news.
But I did get help from Patrick, young Patrick Klepek, one of the news editor. Very young.
Too young.
Very, very young. He was invited to come on the show, but he had drinking to go do that didn't involve being on.
That's a
on the
damn
radio.
shame.
So,
Isn't that awful?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get rolling with it. Where should we start? Well, let's save Andrew's what you've been playing for a little bit.
Right.
Okay, so let's start with John. Because he wasn't expecting me to do that.
What mobile games and frosting making titles have you been playing?
No casual games.
No frosting.
I've
been playing a lot. I've been playing a lot of Warhawk.
So I'm gonna talk to you about Warhawk too, because I was playing Warhawk last night for the first time since the retail version came out.
Yeah, my favorite game on PS3 by
it's
far.
funny. I don't even have your. We need to trade.
We need to trade names.
So
could you accept my friend request? By the way,
I did. Yeah. You've not logged on since. That would be the problem, Garnet.
Yeah. I could say the same about Xbox Live. Well, so my problem is I'm still not good enough with Warhawks to not get shot down within the first 20 seconds.
So you need to filter your games by what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
So do deathmatch only and just avoid the Warhawks.
Well, the problem was I was playing Capture the Flag games,
right?
And I realized I'm not good enough as a Warhawk pilot to be useful, but I am.
What rank are you overall? You're just like an airman or something?
I just started, yeah.
Yeah. So what you can do is you can limit the game by your own rank, and then just jump into a dogfight game where You don't even have to run to the
Right,
Warhawk. You're in it
Warhawks.
right from the beginning,
Yeah.
and you can just tool around and get used to the way it handles.
But Skip was telling me a good tactic to be a Warhawk killer, and that is to get the rocket launcher, switch to knife, because then you're invisible to radar,
Yeah.
and then go around killing Warhawks, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And it really pisses people off.
Yeah.
You're invisible to radar when you have the knife out.
When you're using the knife,
Yeah.
no one can see where you are.
Yeah, so you
Interesting.
pop out, put on your rocket launcher, kill the Warhawk, and then put the knife back on and run away.
The knife is actually an awesome humiliation weapon, and when you're in a game, like a 16-player game, where a lot of people are spawning in the same place, and particularly, I don't know, even if you've played it much, that the battles always bunch up in these choke points, and everyone's really lazy about selecting their spawn point in deathmatch games, so you end up with everyone spawning in the same place.
See, I don't like that because the weapons are all picked over. I like to go to some weird spawn place and get
Right.
good
So
shit.
what you can do in that, because you always have the knife and you always have the pistol. If you think there's a bunch of spawning happening, as you're spawning, you can hold down on the D-pad, and as soon as you arrive, it switches you to the knife, and you can just start lashing out. And if people are spawning at the same time, you can do a one-hit kill with the knife as they spawn.
And that's fun.
It is if you're doing it.
It's humiliating. Well, also just other people will engage you in knife fights sometimes, and that's fun.
And because you can, and also because you can.
Hi, welcome to Counter-Strike 5 years ago.
Okay, but how many PS3 owners
Right.
have played Counter-Strike? Probably none of them. So you can cut out the snobbery
But I think
bullshit.
That's no snobbery bullshit. That
Yes,
is welcome
it
to
is.
5 years ago.
It is, but what's fun about Warhawk though is you can have the fun ground combat, but then the Warhawk combat and the ability to take down Warhawks, and it all kind of balances out in the end. It's weird.
The problem with the game is no one's playing ranked games. If you're not in an SCEA
Why
game,
is that a problem?
because you can't rank up. You can't earn anything if there's no ranked games running. So everyone starts a 30-minute, 32-player server. So you can only join a game halfway, unless you're starting your own game. You're starting in the middle of somebody else's game that's really long. And depending on what they've done with the rank matching, you're either sort of, woefully outranked and are never going to catch up, or you go in and cream everybody, but you don't earn anything for it. And depending on when you log on, sometimes there's only 2 or 3 of the blue Sony games in that are always ranked,
Right.
and you can never get on them because everyone's just lining up to join.
Well,
So they're just hammering the inline.
They're hammering
stuff.
the So it'll say there's 6 players out of 8, but the final, no one can jump in as the final 2 because everyone's trying.
It's weird that you guys are switching a knife like that. I mean, I already said that I liked Warhawk, so I'm not really giving it so much shit other
You're just
than
being a snob about Counter-Strike.
I'm not being a snob about Counter-Strike. I'm being a snob about the whole knife fight thing. I've never fully gotten that because it's all about humiliation and cheap kills.
Mm-hmm.
And breaking the game design for whatever shooter it's in. Maybe not completely breaking it. Some games it doesn't break it so much as it helps balance things out. But many games, the whole knife mechanic is you getting in a place to do cheap kills and humiliating people. People get off on that shit.
Yeah, right. I mean, the deathmatch games are probably more highly populated than any other mode because not everyone has a headset.
right. There
even if
wasn't a lot of talking. I was surprised that I thought a lot more people would
Something
have
I have noticed about PSN is it's infinitely nicer as
Yeah.
an environment than Xbox Live.
I've had some dicks on MotorStorm, but Warhawk was very pleasant.
Well, it's infinitely nicer because only the people who actually want to talk and engage in reasonable conversation are actually going to the effort to set up the
And
headsets.
there's no one just talking shit about other people, and the worst you hear is asshole.
Right.
I mean, I was shocked.
Did you guys not play Resistance? I mean, it was the same situation.
Really, that was polite.
It was polite when there were people talking, and most of the time there wasn't.
Most people didn't have headsets.
And
on
most
this.
people
Yeah.
weren't talking.
There aren't a lot of people talking in Warhawk, but I mean, it's you can get a game. You just not. I think the problem is you're not going to get the kind of game that you want because a lot of people are racking up the ribbons because you get the 5 kills with a pistol ribbon and the first time you kill someone with a knife ribbon, and there's the 3 tiers of God knows how many of these rewards that it gives you. There's 50 or 60 in each level. But if you're not in a ranked server, you don't get any of them.
I want to play the team modes, though. I mean, I'm all about the team
what's
modes.
funny is I've been waiting. We have some extra copies here to distribute to the EGM guys, and once everybody gets their copy, I wanted to try to organize some games. But I realized by the time that happens, Halo 3 is going to be out. No one's going to play this game.
But what I really hope with Warhawk, though, is that Sony continues to drip content into it so it stays current. Because if you have it, particularly if you bought the download one and it's always on your hard drive, it could be like Counter-Strike became on PC, that game that when you haven't got anything else to play, you'll go and play that for 20 minutes. You'll go play one 20 or 30-minute game and rack up some kills and then do something else.
I could easily see that becoming that sort of game for me, definitely.
But the shame for Warhawk would be is if something else comes along and everyone stops playing it. because it's so good, and because it's come so early in the PS3's life cycle, it does stand the risk of getting kind of brushed under the carpet.
By what? What's going to usurp that place on PS3?
Haze, I don't know.
Anything? I mean, like,
When's Haze going to come out realistically?
They're saying November.
Okay, so that's still 2 months away.
Yeah.
Orange
Box. But my worry is more that this is a really good game that came out very early.
Yeah.
And with the way that people tend to drift from one game to another, it could get left behind really easily. Although, I mean, that said, Resistance hasn't. People are still playing a ton of Resistance online.
Well, they could be in a position with Warhawk where down the road, as new influx of players comes into PlayStation Network, they could adjust the pricing to make it more, attractive for people to jump into it.
So I played that, and I've been playing Heavenly Sword.
Also not a baby game.
Yeah, which I hate.
What? Really? I really love it.
I really love it.
I do really love it.
It's fantastic.
You love that great hair on Noriko.
It's
The sexy
sexy tagliatelle hair.
The hair is
the sexy chin,
some aspects of the hair are impressive.
the ass.
The ass is impressive.
All right, we've heard him splooge on it. You tell us why we don't like it.
I wanted to love it, and I think it's gorgeous, and I think the stuff that they're doing with the graphics, apart from her hair, which looks like she's got an octopus on her head, is like fantastic. But it's the most derivative bullshit I've ever seen in a next-gen game. It's like...
Whoa, I thought the storytelling was brilliant and fantastic.
I think,
gameplay-wise,
you've heard it before. I think the storytelling does elevate the art form, actually. I think there's no game that has cutscenes or storytelling
the voice acting and the motion capture is gorgeous.
Right. I also think that Aftertouch is not derivative at all, and I think it's instead it's very innovative and is going to be ripped up by everybody.
But the boss battles are like... PS1 boss battles. It's like, here she is whipping her tail, and I have to dodge to the left, and now she's making the big wave come, and I've got to dive through that. And then she runs back the other way, and I run to the other end of the level, and fucking hell, I played this 10 years ago.
The boss battles are traditional.
Point.
I mean, not all of them. I mean, how far are you? You just got to Whiptail, or I mean, the game isn't very long.
No, I mean, Whiptail was the one that.
Oh, are you making points for him also?
Whiptail was the one that I was like, oh my god, you're kidding me, really?
The first time you fight her, the second.
Spoilers! Oh my god!
They're both pretty much the same as far as I can gather.
I'd say the only thing I don't like about the boss battles is that you have to finish them with the hero sequences. I thought that was a little forced, but.
I mean, and those things, again, presentation-wise, it's fantastic. But
what about the stylized combat? Do you dig? Is that part fun?
That I think is great. But what I hate is the all the stuff that breaks the next-gen illusion. Like, you've got these fantastic visuals, and then these clumsy fucking trigger points everywhere. And, the fact that the action... you can wander away, you can wander down a hallway, and they'll get stuck on the edge. And then, at your leisure, you can pick off the bad guys because you've wandered out of their line of sight. Not even line of sight. They can see you. You're just out of their zone of awareness. They're stuck running on the spot behind a box, and then you can just stand there's this stuff with the fucking Bjork looking chick that's in it.
See, I like Kai's levels.
Aren't they both Bjork looking?
a little bit, but I do realize I think the Kai levels are kind of make or break. If you like them. And if you think they're add to the pacing of the game,
but her levels you can break them.
There's that exploitation.
Yes, so that one when there's that central hub room and there's all the tunnels off it, and they're all bundling in together or whatever.
That's the one where you're just supposed to play it like Resident Evil 4. At that point, you're just supposed to aim and shoot really quickly with.
But what you can do is you can work your way past them and go back down the tunnel they came, and they are blissfully unaware of the place that they came from.
I will say, enemy AI is not very advanced.
But this is what I object to with it, is that it's doing some stuff that's oh wow, only the PS3 is going to deliver these visuals and this kind of, and then it completely destroys that illusion by doing this dumb shit that, some people, if you're following it the way that it funnels you might not see it. But anyone that's experienced with games, so anyone that's likely to have bought a PS3 at this point, can easily break it.
Right. Well, yeah.
And that's kind of what bothers me about it.
It's a very directed game. It's a very, I almost viewed it more as a movie/game because the presentation of the cinema is so Hollywood, and it really is. Those cutscenes.
Andy Serkis is fantastic.
Right, the acting and the writing, and this week Penny Arcade referred to the cutscenes as overwrought, which really just blew me away. I mean, of course they're over the top. Andy Serkis' performance is very over the top.
I think they're overwrought too, but in that way, I mean, when I remember watching Matt Leone playing it. And the circus cat, I can't remember his name.
King Bohan.
The king, yeah. So he reminded me of David Warner's character in Time Bandits. That sort of really overwrought, crazy, sort of like totally over the top, like ridiculously evil person.
I mean, the game is very melodramatic, but
really, in like a short game like this, I mean, I haven't played it, but don't you want something like that? That's over the top.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of time to develop the characters.
I think the characters work by being ridiculous.
In a short game, you sort of want, in a short game, you sort of want that. You sort of want one-dimensional characters. I mean, again,
you should play it through, and I think reserve full judgment until the end of the game, because it is it's a very tight experience and very directed, and the arc is there, and everybody who's poo-pooing on this game and giving it like 6s or whatever, I think it's very negative, because it is not a bad game, and I think it shows a lot of things that we haven't seen in other games, and I can't wait to see what they do next. They can definitely do better.
Oh, clearly,
they can do better than this, but I think the artistry and how they're pushing the art form should be respected.
Hey, look, ridiculous characters work for the Metal Gear Solid bosses, so it ought to work for Heavenly Sword.
It's actually kind of similar in part. Keep playing.
Oh my god!
And did you say gameplay?
No.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't hear when he was laughing. I couldn't hear what you said.
Some incest with mothers, or
it gets pretty nuts, the story. But
oh my god! Next time,
big fat guys like running around
on skates.
I try to give Shane that
martinis.
I try to give Shane that Garnet joke of the show, and he turns it around into a shovel to dig his own grave with. It's fantastic.
And then last week, I played Burnout. I played a lot of Burnout Paradise as well.
And we actually agree on Burnout.
Yes, very much.
You don't
so.
hate that one.
I think. I mean that game on PS3 in that open world 8-player mode, I could happily play that and no other part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking now. It sounds like they're talking about opening the entire city up, not putting any restrictions on it, and giving you everything in the game for that mode as well, like not making you play through the single-player experience to unlock the cars. I think, it's like just dump everything into it. Also, they were showing me that there's unfinished areas that they're going to leave in the game. There's Easter eggs. There's like stuff that they'd fucked around with where they'd not bothered finishing the graphics or anything, and they're like, well, you can still go there. And
weird. So
there's a lot of there's like an area. Did you see the area by the huge dam?
Yeah, I did. There was a
because the city seems to be somewhat in a bowl, and there's this sort of like high ground above it and mountains, and there's a huge like hydroelectric dam.
The way to avoid having those invisible walls.
Yeah, and you can work your way up through the mountains, and you can get to the top of the dam, and you can kind of jump off it, and then there's these like quarries and stuff that they'd thought about making for gameplay, and they haven't finished them yet, and they were like. I was talking to Alex, and it was like, well, this part's not finished yet, but you can still drive around in it, but you've got to really know where it is to find it.
But so they could later on like complete these things as DLC.
Potentially, I would think, but it's just like the crazy shit that you can do, and then when you have other people with you as well, the stuff that comes out of the gameplay. There were eight of us playing at that session, and everyone started in different parts of the city. And gradually, everyone congregated into one place and started jousting.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any voice chat. No one was communicating. It was just people could tell by the way they were behaving on the road. They would like scream up the highway, handbrake, turn it round when they saw somebody else, and then just like go and hit each other. And after they got tired of doing it one-on-one, people would pair off.
Yeah.
And it would be like stuff out of fucking Road Warrior, where like there'd be two people like chasing after another guy and like locking him like in between and trying to run him into like into an intersection or something, so he'd slam into the corner or whatever. And it was totally like, I mean, it sounds cliche, but totally emergent, like unspoken strategy stuff that people were doing.
I've said this before. This sounds exactly like me and my friends sitting around a couple of 3 years ago.
They totally stole all your ideas from you, dude.
What we used to do in Midtown Madness 2. We'd hop on Xbox Live.
Midtown Madness, broken record. That series is old. Get rid of it.
Okay, I'm just saying that's what we used to do. Now, what we've always known from Alex, directly, that this was a PS3 lead SKU. Mm-hmm. One thing I didn't notice just from casually looking at it was much different in visuals, but you said you were able to dig in and really...
Well, I mean, because he was pointing it out.
Once he pointed it out.
No,
right.
Let me tell my story. Like, I walk in, I was the first person in there. I was like, I'm going to go play Burnout. So I walk in, I also heard there was a bar in the Burnout room. So the first thing I do is walk over to where you get the scotch.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I had my drink.
I'm proud of you, my man. I'm very proud.
And I was walking around. I noticed there were like 16 televisions, and people are starting to play. And I'm walking around, and I'm not even looking at what's what. And I'm looking, and I see Sam playing on the PS3, and I'm watching him play. I'm like, oh, this looks awesome. Then I walk over, and like Nick is playing on 360, and I didn't even notice. I'm like, this one doesn't look as good. I look over there, I look over here, I do a double take, and like that one, the PS3 looks better. Mm-hmm. Like it looks better to me.
And then when they,
not knowing what I was looking at,
if someone points out to you where the PS3 is better, then you really notice. It's one of those things where you don't really notice the specifics until you know what you're looking for.
And it's not a matter of 361 looking bad or having a worse frame rate. It's subtle,
Casually, to me, walking through that room and playing, I played a little bit with it on the PS3, but then walking over and looking at it on 360, I was like, maybe they have these TVs tuned different. That was about how different it looked to me just from casually.
It's a different look. It's weird, yeah.
But either way, it's a really good looking game.
Is the frame rate the same?
Yeah, it's 60 frames a second, which makes a huge difference in a game like Burnout.
So what did Alex bring out and show to you in the PS3 version?
He was showing me some stuff with anti-aliasing and like things with like some of the effects like motion blur that they can do like at the high frame rate that the 360 really struggles with.
Yeah, the differences I saw were motion blur and some textures. Not all textures, some textures.
So could we agree that maybe Burnout's going to be the first game that really, on a multi-platform, starts to show off the technology advantage of the PS3?
It was lead skew on PS3 the entire time.
Right.
So it makes sense,
Plus, the online thing was designed around the PS3 environment because it's so open.
The hop in and out. Yeah, we talked about that last week. So the hop in and out works really well on PS3. Cool. All right. Wow, you've been playing some games. Damn, we should have gotten you out of here a long time ago.
None of them were like Imagine Babies or whatever your new site is covering.
No. Imagine Babies?
That's a real game from Ubisoft.
Although, if you don't bring back...
Holy shit, really? Damn, I'm out of action for a couple of weeks, and someone makes a game called Imagine Babies.
You don't even have to imagine them. You've had them.
I have. I've had two.
Out of your own...
Out of my own...
I don't think he had them.
Can we get you to commit to at least doing the next Hannah Montana?
Hannah Montana? Yeah, I'll probably do that. What's a music game? It's going to be kind of cool.
It's like Rock Band.
Yeah, it's Rock Band DS.
It's Hannah Montana. I got to give him a hard time about it.
Who's up next?
You are up next. How about that?
I think maybe Andrew Fitch should be up next.
All right, we can bring Andrew Fitch in.
I'm not even sure if he plays games.
I play games.
He has reams of notes and things.
Enough of these jock games. So some of these lowly robot RPGs now.
What robot RPG? Are you playing Chibi Robo?
No. No, actually, no robot RPGs this time. Hopefully soon, but Skip, we'll get going on that.
Chibi Robot DS coming out soon.
No, sexy robots.
Sexy robots rule.
Who's saying Chibi Robot isn't sexy to some consumers?
Not me.
It's a Walmart exclusive, actually. Isn't that weird?
Next.
Anyway, yes. So
really.
Yeah. So
rednecks love them robots.
Not really.
Yeah. Anyway, this is going to be a little nerdier than you're probably used to.
I'm a nerd. Watch that.
Well, yeah, a little. You've abandoned your past as we've gone to before, but
it's a character judgment.
Exactly. Come on. Would a nerd play Crysis?
Shane Prestige -5. This is an awesome show.
So what have you been playing, Mr. Fitch?
Soul Nomad and the World Eaters.
Whoa. That's okay. I know that it's for PSP and it's by Nipponichi.
No, it's not actually.
Fuck. What is it?
It's PS2.
But it's by Nipponichi?
Yes.
Soul Nomad and the World Eaters.
Yes.
I thought I saw them at the Mighty a couple weeks ago.
So what is this?
This is a strategy RPG.
And people say I talk about obscure shit. Look at this. All right. Tell us more about this game.
Yeah, it's a strategy RPG, sort of like in the vein of Disgaea, but more hardcore. I think that people who are into like Final Fantasy Tactics, Jeanne d'Arc, they're not going to get into this.
Is it isometric in the same way, like hex-based?
Sort of. I mean, it's like 2D with ugly sprites. I think they use the same engine as Arton Elico. Those sort of ugly sprites, not Odin Sphere, more like PS1 sprites. I don't know how it got approved.
Great.
We're backpedaling through the generations.
However, despite its antiquated graphics.
Yes. No, it's pretty complex, and the problem is that it's like one of those old Koei games where there's a lot of options, but they don't really explain it very well, and they use a lot of weird terminology, like weird slang, like rooms and doors and edicts and that sort of thing. I mean, I
love passing imperial edicts.
Yeah, and I mean, those are just referring to like formations and commands. But
oh man, I'm getting confused just hearing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the pickup artist with Mystery, where he's like, you watch that? Yeah,
I do watch that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? We were terribly reticent about talking about Jeanne d'Arc in the first place. So I don't think none of us.
I really like Jeanne d'Arc.
No, it's
so
really
did
good.
You.
Yeah, no,
and it's out now,
really good.
And it's affordable.
Exactly.
Did you play it, Andrew?
I gave it an 8.
He did.
You need to be reading EGM. You. I bet you don't even read every month.
Exactly.
I bet you I don't. You're probably right.
Oh, God. Dereliction of duty.
Exactly.
But,
I like your style, Fitch.
No, but I mean, it's like it's taking a simple concept and complicating it unnecessarily. I think, like with the PRS Mysteries, just talking about like dating, but he uses all these weird terms for no apparent reason.
Well, and like PSP is becoming a competitive field for these. I mean, we have FF Tactics.
No, it's not PSP. It's PS2.
Oh, you're right.
See, I totally. Yeah.
Well, PS2 is even more competitive. There's tons of.
No.
Yeah.
This is going to be very niche.
How, is the story good at least?
PS2 uber competitive for niche geek games.
It is.
It is. It is.
These days, the niche geek games are the big releases actually on PS2.
The story and the translation are both pretty good. It's just the story's not that surprising coming from NIS, but the translation is very, very good. I was very surprised. This is like the second NIS game in a row that the translation has been very good. It's
full of pop culture references?
No, but a lot of swearing.
Oh, that's
a lot of swearing.
Yeah, I heard about this game. I heard it has like the most swearing of any PS2 RPG ever.
It's rated teen too. I'm not sure how they. Yeah, I mean, your protagonist is he's possessed by this centuries old demon who's like just a badass. He's total take no prisoners, like always bragging about his power, and wants to take everyone over. And you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. And he's like, come on, kick the shit out of these guys.
So he's like spouting out like Exorcist style.
Yeah, he's like
cuss words.
Nice. Calling the women cows and that sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's the story's good. I think that it could use more tutorials.
So from what you've seen, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up for strategy.
All right.
Guys, it's pretty complicated, but at first I was a little lost just because of the lack of tutorials. But I've really gotten into it. I think that it's on the recommendable side if you're strategy.
Roger Ebert could sue us for saying thumbs up though. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Never mind. All right. So what else have you been playing?
Let's see.
Anything else even weirder?
We stumped him.
Yeah, no, the Smirnoff Ice got to me. I'm sorry.
It does that.
Well, one thing I just got through playing for EGM review coming up is Siphon Filter Logan Shadow.
Ooh, we haven't had much coverage on that. That's
I know,
interesting.
and like the first Siphon Filter for PSP was actually a huge hit.
It was a big hit.
It was good as well, which compared to the previous Siphon Filters, which somehow sold really well, but weren't very good games.
Well, in fact, that PSP one is so good that it's coming out on PS2 this next week.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's getting ported.
Yeah. So how's the new one?
I think the first I played the first Siphon Filter on PS1. I didn't really do that much for me.
I could never get over the running animation.
Yeah, I mean it didn't really do much for me after Metal Gear.
How did that bother you?
Have you ever played Siphon Filter? The running animation is bizarre.
It's so bad that
it's just weird.
You should probably not
couldn't get over it.
You should probably not try Stranglehold.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, you should probably not try Stranglehold. Running in all body animation in that game, by the way, just pretty much.
Well, I think they fixed the running animation by now.
No, the running animation's fine. Actually, compared to Portable Ops, the running animation, I thought the running animation was pretty weak in Portable Ops.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot better. But yeah, Siphon Filter sort of flew under my radar for a while, just because it didn't really compare to Metal Gear, and Dark Mirror, the PSP game that came out last year, also flew under my radar because I just gotten hired here and I was obsessed with not getting fired.
That's a good obsession to have.
Yeah. So I don't even remember it coming out, and then Greg said, "Hey, we need someone to review this," and I think no one else was available.
But so you kind of came into it fairly fresh to the franchise.
Well, yeah, not having played it in a few years. So, but I mean, I am a big Metal Gear fan.
Well, see, I'm also a big Metal Gear fan. Who's never really got into Siphon Filter.
Yeah, and a lesser Splinter Cell fan, and with both of those franchises, out of action this year.
So which character were you playing in this game? Are we playing Gabe?
Gabe Logan, yes.
Okay, so you're still
playing
his
hottie chick friend?
Liang Xing.
Yeah, her.
Yeah, she's there.
Can you play as her?
Spoilers.
Never mind.
Spoilers. Yes, you can.
Awesome.
Action, more stealth, or more shooter focused?
Actually, no. That's one of the good things is that I went back to Dark Mirror and the gameplay's pretty similar.
There's a lot of sniping.
Some people might think it's too similar, but I think it's a good mix. Because the enemies for the most part already know you're there, and one of the problems I have with Metal Gear is I always mess up and always have guys rushing at me. Even though I really like the game, guys are always coming at me, and I try to use stealth, but it doesn't really.
You're not alone.
help.
I promise.
Yeah, I'm not as much as I love Metal Gear. I'm not somebody who doesn't get spotted.
Yeah, I mean, there are some stealthy elements, but for the most part, you're trying to find cover. Trying to hide yourself with the enemies already knowing you're there. So I think for someone like me who always messes up, I think that they do a good job of mixing.
What about the problem of having using every button on the PSP?
I think the controls are fine.
Really,
the controls are fine.
You're not pressing L and select and home.
No,
to shoot a missile. I don't know.
No, you can stick to walls pretty easily. You just use the analog stick. You aim with the face buttons. The controls are. I mean, and that's one of the things that it moves at slow motion. And like having played like PSP games where you're running action games where you're running around, and you have your hand on the analog nub all the time. It really starts to hurt. And that's one of the things Brooks who was also on the review. He was complaining about. I mean, just with this game. So I think that they balance it where it's a lot slower pace, so your hand's not always on the nub and not always getting calloused.
Well, it's that aim with the face button thing that's always off-putting for me. There's no good solution for doing games like this on PSP.
Really.
So that's the number one frustration I have with these games every time.
No, it's and there are also a few other control options. I use the default ones, and I had no problem with them.
I'll take the one that has 2 sticks.
That's not an option.
Yeah,
That's not. Oh,
no. It's not really a problem. Like once you get into it,
I've heard this game is almost as good as the last.
Yeah,
one.
it's I went back and actually you can pick up Dark Mirror up for like $15, so I did that. And comparison, I would say that gameplay might be a little better than Dark Mirror, a little more
refined.
so
yeah,
it's good. You can go have a Gabe Logan double feature weekend.
But the story in this one's a lot better. I mean, the story in Dark Mirror was more like American Terrorist, and that hasn't been in style since like the 70s. It wasn't really like the Weather Underground. It wasn't really a.
Yeah, we're more about
really,
outside.
Yeah. No, here you're fighting like Syrians.
Gabe Logan is not Serpico.
You're fighting like Syrians and Chinese, and you're also dealing with like a W style. Political guy, so it's
more topical.
Yeah,
ripped from the headlines.
Yeah, and the guy who actually did the story like apparently worked for DC Comics.
Oh.
So like, and one of the things I read an interview with him. One of the things he was telling the people involved in the game is they gave him a raw story, and then he's like, "Well, all the stuff that you guys have set up, you're not using. You need to have emotional investment in the characters, and you can see in comparison with Dark Mirror that the story is a lot more fleshed out. The characters are a lot more fleshed out. Like you can see the difference that a professional writer makes. Because
that writer was at PAX. He was doing autographs. We all walked by his table.
Yeah,
and let me tell you, want to talk about talking to writers? I talked to Drew Carpasian. I believe that's the correct name.
The Mass Effect writer?
Yeah, the Mass Effect writer, because I was just up in Edmonton yesterday checking out Mass Effect, which
Can you talk about it?
I cannot talk about it yet. So I hate to do that because...
What a tease, dude. Teasing.
I have to tease it because I'm telling you, it was such an amazing demo that I am absolutely busting wanting to talk to you guys about it. So, and we won't do it next week because we'll be at TGS. So the week after, when we'll have, I'm sure like the week after show.
Talk about a Blue Balls tease.
I know.
My God, 2 weeks?
Well, yeah, I know. It's like, well, we're going to talk about it during TGS. I mean, that's really kind of stupid. On Monday, my hands-on preview will be going up 9 a.m. along with brand new screens, so you'll be able to check it out. And of course, so that way you'll already have context. But man, incredible game. But the point of all that was talking to he who wrote the book that John and I both read.
The prequel book?
The prequel book, which is really interesting. And talking to him about the difference between writing for a game and writing for a novel. It was really interesting to talk about how, in a novel, you have ultimate control over every character, but in a game, especially in a BioWare-style RPG, you have to leave all of these hooks and openings so that characters are invested in who they're playing and can still impact and have a sense of control over their destiny, and at the same time have a character that actually means something and works inside the story. It's very interesting.
Yeah, one of the things that's important is like hooking the player from the start, and I think this does. That's one of the reasons I didn't like Blue Dragon was that it just doesn't do that.
Yeah, the story not so much.
Yeah, let's not drag the dragon back out by the tail. So what I can tell you about from my trip to Edmonton is a much more interesting tale of drunken silliness in Edmonton, because Edmonton is a hellhole. And John, you will back me up on this.
We may have listeners in Edmonton.
They're all Canadian. They don't count.
We probably do. And you know what? I would
go back to Tim Hortons. Go read that chapter.
They have good coffee at Tim Hortons.
I would wish him the best of luck for getting out of Edmonton, or at least, I mean, maybe you like it. I don't know, but I can tell you,
socialist regime.
So the BioWare's office is in this Atrium Hotel, and in the bottom floor of the Atrium Hotel is this pub, and we go to this pub with some Microsoft guys and Andy Eddy from IGN. We were all hanging out, and I'm telling Andrew, like, we're watching. I mean, we're just going out for like the normal night, like hang out at this place, drink some beer, eat some bar food, and have fun. And I'm in the bathroom washing my hands, and I'm seeing, and this guy walks in, and he's brushing. And I told Andrew, like, the only way to describe this is luxuriously brushing the most amazing mullet I have ever seen in my life.
Well, you're not from the South like me. I've seen a lot of mullets.
What do you mean I'm not from the South?
He's from Texas.
Texas
But no, Texas doesn't count.
Texas is not the South.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Texas is not the South.
It's not the South.
You think we
It's
didn't have any?
Texas.
Okay, you're right. We had no rednecks in Houston. By the way, Houston, Texas. There are no rednecks there. You've been officially eliminated by Kentucky.
I've been to Houston.
Are you from Houston?
I lived in Houston for a decade.
Yeah, Houston reminds me of San Jose, actually.
You reminded me.
How does Houston remind you of San Jose?
I'm from San Jose. I've been to Houston.
I agree.
Almost the same city.
Houston, I saw like more.
Other than like humidity.
I saw more Vietnamese people than I saw mullets there.
Yeah,
That's
there's a
all
lot
I'm
of
saying.
In San Jose?
large Vietnamese population in Houston, actually.
Then in Kentucky has
I mean,
mullets.
that's
We
where
have more
that-
mullets. Okay,
I think that's
Are we actually going to get
Think
to
where
anything
that
you
went's from.
fucking played, Garnet?
Probably not. Oh, so as far as so anyway, long story short is dude winds up on stage with a guitar doing live karaoke, inviting people up to sing along with him.
And
as
did
he,
you?
No, I did not. Of course,
No.
dude, it was horrible. It was horrible. He tortured me with such great hits as Lukenbach, Texas, which is, I think, some sort of song they
Isn't
tortured.
that where Jeremy Parrish is from?
No, he's from Lubbock.
Oh.
Lubbock. Lukenbach is somewhere down in central West Texas or something. I don't know. Anyway, it was really funny. It was really funny. It was like one of those pure Edmonton moments. I have video of it from my phone, and I will be putting it up on Game Videos, so you can look forward to seeing.
It's not a game.
It's funny, dude. Why are you so hardcore like that? What have I been playing? I've been playing Madden. No more new broken controllers. Still frustrated with it, and I started Halo 2 again.
Oh God.
Because I have to finish Halo 2. I have to finish.
Oh, you
Halo
never
2.
finished it?
I never finished Halo 2 because we were talking
You've
about
not
this last
known
night.
the disappointment is the end of Halo 2? Oh my
Right.
God.
Yeah, I know, and I've been fully prepped for it. But so like I mean, my deal with Halo 2 was first I was disappointed when I had to leave Earth because I was looking forward to doing that. Second, I was disappointed when I had to play Arbiter because I'm in that minority that didn't want to play the Arbiter. And then when I got to the Audrey 5000, that was when I set it down. I was like, what? No.
But you're giving it a second chance.
I have to because I have to see the ending of it.
Finish the fight.
For better or for worse, I have to see
Believe.
the end of it so that I can go play the next version. Right?
Believe.
Believe.
Believe finished the fight. That's the only things I know about Halo.
Believe.
I call it out right now. No one here is less interested in Halo than me. I call it right now.
I'm not fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's probably accurate.
Yeah.
That's probably accurate.
Especially because I have to edit all the goddamn stories. Quit writing about Halo! Sick of it!
After editing 20 pages of Halo and EGM, you're probably about to kill somebody.
You've edited
Also,
enough Halo?
Parrish is a traitor for liking Halo. I'm sorry.
No, he's
Parrish is a
Parrish
traitor.
is a traitor. Parrish is a traitor. I'm
He-
sorry.
he grew up-
He loses his new nerd card. He's a traitor.
No,
He's a traitor.
He grew up playing Marathon, which is like the
Nope, traitor.
spiritual prequel.
That's his justification for liking Halo. Because it has
Well,
hooks
actually,
back into the old
Jeremy
school
Parrish and I
nerd.
got in a fight today. One of the news stories we're going to talk about later on is about the Halo commercial. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
That must have been a big fight.
It was a good fight.
With slaps and tickles.
tickles.
Let me kill this section.
No, back, boy, back.
Let me kill this section by saying what I've been playing. And you've missed some of the stuff that's been going on this week around the office, namely Geometry Wars Waves. We actually got PGR4, but we played that for like 5 minutes, and then we started playing Geometry Wars Waves.
Yeah, John and I have played PGR4. We're not surprised by that in the least.
But it's more about how exciting, a new Geometry Wars
And
is.
how not exciting PGR4 is.
That's not what I'm saying. But
That's what I'm saying.
so Geometry Wars Waves, for those of you who haven't played it, it's not a sequel, and they've been very clear that this is not the sequel to Geometry Wars Evolved. It's, if anything, it's like a slightly remixed little mode that you would expect to already exist in that game. The graphics are like 5% better. Like they look like a little bit crisper in a weird way. I'm not sure what's happening, but
They're 5% better. Are you sure they're
I
not?
would say they are 5%
Are you
better.
sure not 4?
Maybe 4. However,
You go into each of the graphic points and they're 5% improved.
what you're doing is so pared down. You have 1 life, no bombs, and enemies appear in waves. Like a line of enemies appear over here, and they go across the screen. And when
Over
you-
here?
Over there, over here, over there. Yeah. The 4 corners, the 4 sides of the stage, and fly across the stage. And when you shoot them, these little niblets, we call them niblets, these little triangles appear after them for about 2 seconds. And by collecting those, that's how you build your multiplier. So it's kind of hard to collect them all really quickly.
So it's kind of like Everyday Shooter.
Kind of. And it ramps up in difficulty very, very quickly. So most people will die in the first like 30 seconds because it gets really hard. But if you manage to survive for like 2 minutes, it gets crazy, and other enemies start appearing along with the waves. So it gets even harder and harder. And so like, the high score around here right now is a little over 1 million. The high score in the whole world is like 6 million, I think, right now on PartnerNet
With 1 life?
with 1 life. And there's also an extreme mode you can play, which starts out really, really, really hard.
Because it's extreme.
But the points are like magnified, so you can. It's like risk reward thing, and it's simple. It's like a nothingy game, but it is incredibly addictive in the same way that Geometry Wars is, in that you want to beat all your friends' scores.
What % improved would you say the gameplay is?
it's not. It's not. It's not.
You calculate the
that
graphics,
was
you
a
can't calculate the
complex-
gameplay.
It's actually not as good as Geometry Wars Retro Evolved at all, really, because it's much simpler. It's incredibly simple. To the point where, like, the reason they're not selling on Xbox Live Arcade is the most I would pay for this game is $5, and that's more than it's worth.
5% better graphics, 5% worse gameplay, $5. There you
But
go.
I do like it, and I wish it was available outside of PGR4.
It's all in fives.
But I don't think it's going to be. But it is fun, and I'm still playing it.
All right. What else?
As I said, I'm playing Warhawk. We also got Rock Band. We got Rock Band in the office 2 days ago.
The day I'm walking out the door to go to the airport to fly to
Yeah.
Edmonton,
And
they're unboxing
It's
Rock
not
Band.
the whole game, sadly. It's a preview build. However, the real tragedy is within the first 12 hours, we broke our drums.
Who is drumming?
Patrick. But
Oh, that explains it.
and I was like calling up Bryce. I was like, dude, we already broke our drums. What kind of shoddy equipment you guys selling? And turns out the one we had just come from the GameStop Managers Conference where it was played for like 72 hours straight by big fat managers from
You
like
can't trust those
Sheboygan.
managers.
Wait. Are you insinuating that?
Sheboygan, yeah, call out Sheboygan, man. They deserve it.
Right.
Exactly. I've
This
been
Fitch
there.
kid, he's
I've been there.
That's where I was born.
Well, that's why you got out.
Sheboygan and Edmonton.
Anyway, so I take back any disparaging comments about the quality of the drums. They were just like beaten the hell out of by managers somewhere. So they replaced it as a replacement
Or as you
drum.
put it, big fat EB managers. They'll,
Yeah.
they'll love you for that.
You have fresh drums now?
We have fresh drums, and
He has fresh skins.
I'm somebody who, as you know, I'm not very good at Guitar Hero, but on Rock Band, I'm more willing to like go up to normal, not easy. I'm not very good at Guitar Hero. But
Why?
I'm just not good at it. I don't know.
No, why are you more willing?
Because there's other people playing with me, and you kind of feel like you're all like, they're like, you can do it, and you're all like a team, and you get like unison points, and I've already played more Rock Band in the last 2 days than I have Guitar Hero 2, which is kind of nuts. I'm definitely digging it. And the songs are
So
awesome.
you're buying into the whole social part of
I
it.
am,
then.
because it really is fun. And the song choices, I know some people think Guitar Hero has better songs, but I love the songs that are in this game. They're great. I love it.
Rock Band has the larger Ultimate library with the albums that they've announced. So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
let's not talk about
So-
song choice. I mean, song choice in the basic game, maybe Guitar Hero 3 has an advantage, but there's
Yeah.
nobody touching
Well, don't forget Aerosmith working with Guitar Hero. You can't top
Well,
that.
for-
I am forgetting about
for
that.
Guitar Hero, what, 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whatever.
So Rock Band, I love it. Also I've been playing Silent Hill Origins. I'm reviewing it. I got the final build of
Nice.
the game, and
Or not nice.
I think people who like Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2 are going to be really, really happy with this game. It's almost like a love letter fan fiction to those games.
So that basically scrapped the old thing they're working on.
Oh,
and
completely. Like the
just
thing
said,
the version.
let's do Silent Hill 1.
The version looked like a weird Resident Evil 4 from 2 years ago, completely thrown away. It looks just like Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, it sounds like
Plays just like Silent Hill 2.
sounds like that's what they're doing.
How
with
is it
Silent
sort
Hill
of
at this point?
Canon-wise, is it
It's interesting because it takes elements from Silent Hill 1. It's a prequel to 1, but it also kind of borrows some elements from the film, combines them, kind of reestablishes the plot of Silent Hill in a lot of ways. And
You liked the film, though, didn't you?
I did like the film. And
What?
Why? No, let's not go there.
well, I thought it was a overly slavish version of the game. It was like too slavish to the fiction. It followed the fiction too closely. But I think the sequences in the other world are really well directed and scary. And for a PG-13 horror movie, it's quite effective. Okay, and
Wow. I will just leave the message boards to rip you a new one for that one. That movie is garbage.
Let's not talk about the movie.
Yeah, let's not talk
I
about the
didn't
movie.
mean to start that.
but in terms of a PSP game, it has the best lighting of any PSP game I've ever seen in my entire life.
So
Bar none.
does it have the fog and that mechanic back into it? Because I've only
It
played
does, yeah.
I only played Silent Hill 1, and I
Yeah.
loved how you were walking around with the
Well,
radio and the static thing. That was
Has all
Is
of
that
that.
the radio?
Has the radio, has the fog, has walking around Silent Hill.
that is one of the most tense, tension building gameplay mechanics ever.
Also, it has a new soundtrack by Akira Yamaoka, the composer, and it's mixed really well. It does a lot of cool stereo stuff. And like when you're playing,
Cool.
when you start the game, it's like you really should be playing this at night with headphones. It tells you that. So yeah, that's how you should play it.
Oh, that could be really
Are there like
creepy.
references to the other games,
Yes.
characters?
Yes.
Yeah, that could be
So,
fully
Yeah, if you're a
creepy.
fan, you should look forward to this. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is, remember last week when I promised to talk about Crysis? I didn't get
Yes.
to play it, but I got to watch Sean Elliott play it at EA, and I can finally talk about that. The level we saw is the ice level, and everything you've seen up until now has been in the jungle. And you imagine the ice level looks very different because it's ice. It's really vertical. You're coming down this mountainside.
Dr. Obvious on the
Yeah.
graphics today. Would you say that they're 5 or 10% better than the jungle level?
I would say they're 10% worse because there's less going on. However, it does have the best snow I've ever seen. And you'd kind of expect Crysis to have the best snow you've ever seen. The snow is ridiculous.
Better
Just-
than the Lost Planet snow?
Yes. You can just look up and watch the snow for like 20 minutes. But what's interesting about this level is you're not fighting people. You're fighting the crazy aliens. And I hadn't really seen these aliens. And they're flying flying around. They remind me of the things in the end of Matrix Reloaded that are coming in the Matrix
The
land.
things with the tentacles?
Yes, that's what
The
they're...
Seekers?
Yeah, I forget what they're called here in Crisis, but that's what they look like.
I tell you this much. I am so over visual and graphics descriptions by meteorological effects. Oh, the rain is amazing. Oh, my gosh, you should see the snow.
The snow is spectacular.
Wow, wait till someone comes up with a new and better way to do frost on Windows.
Sleet.
What really surprised me about these enemies, though, because like you kind of expect their AI not to be good, because usually like monster enemies or robot enemies, alien enemies, you don't expect them to act like people.
Does it have
Because they're not-
condensation?
It does. So they're not people. But I was impressed because Sean was having trouble with these guys, and they worked in teams, and yeah, the AI was there, and like it looked fun.
Have you ever seen or played any Far Cry?
I've watched them and played. I haven't played.
So how would you compare
in terms of what?
the AI? Because that's always been one of the complaints about Far Cry.
It seemed better to me, and especially for aliens, for flying aliens. Like it seemed like they actually had AI. I'll give it that. Flying aliens, like
ever.
goopy
Yeah, and I mean,
tentacle aliens.
I could definitely see where if you're doing a flying enemy in a game, you have to be very careful with the AI because it'd be
Right.
very easy to make it dominant and
Yeah.
very difficult, to the point of frustrating.
And you weren't really facing a lot of them at once. I think that's part of it. Like they're not, because it would be unfair if these things were like swarming up on you.
So in this ice level, is it above ground or is it underground?
It's above ground, and you're coming down a mountainside,
Hmm.
and it's very vertical. And it's huge. I mean, like the level was colossal.
So we've talked jungle, we've talked snow. Next week, lava level.
next week,
Week after.
Desert level?
next week is called the core.
Ah.
That's what I'll be talking about next week. So look for that, and look for videos of these levels on Game Videos.
Actually, we'll probably do the core in 2 weeks also because next week's going to be all TGS, and this will be a good little chance before we go to this break. Both Shane and I and Mark, who's already there, will be doing a special TGS One Up Yours show next week, due to go up probably Friday evening, possibly Saturday morning, depending on what we had logistics to work out. We are going to take the equipment. We're going to do a show for you guys. It's probably going to be one segment. It's going to be a lot of bang, bang, quick impressions. So you do have that to look forward to next week if you stick around right now. When we come back on the other side, we'll give you some preview looks at the long game list and maybe some predictions. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the other side.
This One Up podcast is brought to you by Konami's Brooktown High Sweepstakes. Enter to win a Konami Game Pack plus cash. Contest ends September 29th. Enter now at contests.oneup.com.
All right, we're back and ready to dig into the Tokyo Game Show, courtesy of Shane, who, while I was gone in Edmonton, has assembled an entire master list with visual aids,
Some of them, yeah.
which will be very helpful for the listeners.
It's more for you guys here. So Tokyo Game Show starts officially on next Thursday, but the excitement started earlier this week when Microsoft had their incredibly early press conference. I'm not sure why they had it a full week and 2 days before before TGS, but they did.
That is an odd thing for me.
It is odd. Well, maybe it's because they didn't really have that much to show. I don't know. Like we thought there'd be more announcements than there were. The big.
Well, let me just go
There
ahead
weren't
and
really any surprises, though.
Well, the biggest surprise would have been a surprise had they not accidentally leaked it the day before.
Right.
which is
And that is Ninja Gaiden 2. It's not a big surprise. We all knew it was coming, but we didn't expect Microsoft to be the publisher necessarily. But Microsoft is publishing Ninja Gaiden 2, which seemingly makes it an exclusive forever, unless they remix it, give it a different name down the road for some other.
okay. So, Mr. I hate the Xbox 360. What do you think? Are you excited?
Are you addressing me?
No, I'm addressing the shadow behind you.
I don't hate Xbox 360.
I'm just giving you shit. Come on, man.
And
Play with me here.
And
What
I
do you-
love Ninja Gaiden.
And what did you think of those screens? Tell me that you did not. Okay, I want to know what you
okay,
thought.
so I think it's going to be a really great game, and I've seen video of it. I'm very excited for it. I love Ninja Gaiden. However, because Itagaki had talked it up to me so much and said that like when other people see this game, they're going to be jealous, and other developers aren't going to know what to do with themselves. Really?
Like in the conference, he was saying it was like the best action game ever.
Well, that may be true, but visually, it doesn't blow me away. It looks great, and there's a lot of really cool looking blood.
Dude, the blood is the stylized.
The blood's ridiculous.
Stylized
the
it?
stylized.
Most stylized blood ever.
There was a lot of blood in that decapitation screenshot.
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
But like, I think the best review I've seen of it is like, sure looks like a Team Ninja game, and it does. It really looks like a Team Ninja
What the
game.
hell is bad about that? I like Team.
I think more importantly, what do you think the Team Ninja making a game and publishing through Microsoft says about that team's relationship with Tecmo long term?
Oh.
They're not wholly owned by Tecmo, are they? They're independent, right?
No. Well, it's weird. I think that there's connections, but I'm not really sure of them. But the graphics, it looks like a Team Ninja game. The lighting isn't that great. Everything looks kind of plasticky. The backgrounds look like they could have been in DOA 4. I mean, it has a distinctive look to it. It isn't a bad look, but like it doesn't look real. You know, it doesn't look like worlds better than Ninja Gaiden Sigma, definitely.
To address your question, John, I think it tells us, it confirms what we've thought all along about Team Ninja, which is at the top of it, and specifically Itagaki, for whatever reason, is comfortable and likes working on the Xbox product, likes the hardware, likes working with it, and that's where he's in his comfort zone. I mean, let's be serious. He took Black... or Sigma,
right.
I'm sorry, Sigma, and he wasn't doing Sigma.
Yeah,
Keep in mind,
he gave it to somebody else.
It was done by one of his
underlings.
I call him underling. It makes
He
it
wasn't
sound
underling.
fun.
He wasn't
Whatever.
underling.
One of the producers that worked under him, who he had great respect for, and obviously was willing to trust the project to. But because that guy wanted to do it on PlayStation, is why that project exists. Not because Itagaki wanted to do it.
Right, and like I think some of the more exciting stuff that might come out of this game, like other playable characters. I mean, you travel to other places in the world, like Venice and New York. We haven't seen all that, and I'm withholding judgment on the overall product. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing game. I love Ninja Gaiden, but in terms of like visual blowing me away factor, it's not quite there. But
and it's still early.
It's still early.
So
haven't played it.
I think what they were
communicating.
I think what they were communicating in the screens, at least what I got from them, is stylized, lots of blood,
decapitation,
lots of blood,
Yeah.
serious.
There's new weapons. There's a cool claw weapon. There's huge bosses. It looks great, and I think it's a key exclusive. I mean, it is
a key
in
exclusive.
Japan. This is the game for the Xbox audience. Like the Xbox audience in Japan are Team Ninja fans, and this shows them we believe in you. You know, we have your back.
Interesting.
It's all good.
So not Lost Odyssey.
Well, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
So Lost Odyssey, I believe last year at TGS I referred to it as a quote abortion.
Oh.
And it doesn't look like an abortion anymore. It looks like Final Fantasy X-3, quite frankly. Would you?
Final Fantasy 10/12. It sort of feels like a combination of them. It looks like Final Fantasy X, but it looks like they're trying to do like a political Final Fantasy 12 type thing.
A little bit, but yeah, like it's very Final Fantasy X in terms of the battle system, which is the big demo. Like Sakaguchi went through a long demo. He played lots of battles, and
he died on the boss.
And he died on the boss, which is funny. But like, yeah, it's familiar.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that...
How can you... See, this is what drove me crazy with Blue Dragon. And John and I just had this argument a little while ago walking over to Walgreens. How can we be excited and happy about this sort of doing games that we're happy... that Japanese-style role-playing games that we love and embrace on one company's platform, but then you do it on another company's platform, it's like, oh, fuck you, that's terrible, it's crap.
What are you comparing?
Wait, we didn't. That's not the argument we had. The argument we had is I thought Blue Dragon was fucking boring.
Oh, man.
I thought that you predicated that. I thought that you predicated that argument on its being...
It had nothing to do with the platform it's on. It has all to do with the fact that they remade a game from 10 years ago.
And how many times do we see Japanese RPGs that follow the formula been released on PlayStation 2?
Well, that's very...
We liked
a
them.
lot of the draw on PS2 has to do with like the plot and how that differentiates itself from the game, and that's why Suikoden is popular. That's why Shadow Hearts is popular. Right. I mean, a lot of it is characters and visuals and that sort of thing. Fan fiction.
Shadow Hearts is a really good example because they did something a little more daring. I mean, particularly by Western taste. I mean, it was a bit wacky, and it was like people really got into the imagery. And
if anything, Shadow Hearts is a Final Fantasy clone, but they went like left field, did some crazy shit with it. The battles are different. It differentiated itself more than Blue Dragon did from Dragon Quest. That's for sure.
I would like to say, like, looking. I mean, have you played the Lost Odyssey hands-on at all?
I played. No,
Okay.
I've not.
Not since TGS. That build at TGS.
Yeah,
was
I
a
didn't
mess.
play the E3 build, which is the new battle system.
I mean,
the battle system now is completely different than it was a year ago.
Yeah, to me, the storytelling, the characters, they look like a step up from Blue Dragon, but the gameplay looks like a step back to me because they have random battles, and
you can already see a very high encounter rate, which I know a lot of people don't like. I'm not like even me. Like every 5 steps is a bit much, and that's what it looked like.
Mm-hmm. And gameplay mechanic, battle gameplay mechanic that was innovative when Beyond did it.
Right.
Button presses.
What's changed is they've added a timed button press.
I'm sorry. It still feels to me like you guys are tearing into Sakaguchi and Mistwalker doing games that if they were on PS3, people would be fucking happy.
If they were on
for.
PS3, they'd be like derivative rehashes of old games on PS3.
The problem with...
And people would be excited about them and talking about all the reasons that they love what they're doing.
No, the problem with Lost Odyssey is that Final Fantasy 13 exists. And quite frankly, that is the problem. When the real thing... How is Sakaguchi doing a game not the real thing? Dude, you're full of shit.
Because he's not innovating. He's they're stuck in like Final Fantasy 7 and sort of like derivatives of that.
When I say this is Final Fantasy 10-3, that's what it is.
I mean, Final Fantasy 5 is my favorite Final Fantasy, and that's apparently also Sakaguchi's
So
favorite,
every time I want to make a new story with new characters, I have to come up with a whole goddamn new game system?
Well, this is the problem.
If you want to do something different.
But this is the problem.
Well, what if I want to make a good RPG? Yes, sir.
This is the problem with this kind of RPG is you don't need a new one every fucking year. It's like they've been iterating and iterating and iterating, and the thing with Final Fantasy is that it gets carte blanche on whatever they do because of the brand. Right. It gets forgiven of every crime it makes. But when someone does something derivative of a previous version of Final Fantasy, then it's like, this is probably why Sakaguchi parted ways with Square in the first place, one of the many reasons, because everything creatively got stuck.
Right.
It didn't move. I mean, it was the problem with Final Fantasy X.
Well, I would disagree. I think 10 is actually pretty innovative, and I think it's a problem with 9, which was Sakaguchi's project. But I think a lot of people think we're being really negative about Lost Odyssey, and I think it actually is going to be a good game. And I think
you're fucking being negative. There's no think to it.
But I think it is going to be a good game. And I think it is going to be a lot more marketable in America than Blue Dragon is.
Definitely.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, anybody expecting this game to blow the world open and be a 10 and redefine RPGs, that's not going to happen.
I'm as far as storytelling and that sort of thing, I'm more optimistic about this than Blue Dragon. I think it will be a better game.
Yeah, I do too. So I am excited about it, but in terms of blowing everybody away, again, not so much.
The whole thing with these Mistwalker things, I mean, to address what you're getting at with the Xbox thing, and that is that the entire Mistwalker strategy to me seems incredibly contrived. It's this sort of manufactured,
right.
let's get a Japanese studio and a Japanese name known for making the kind of game that we desperately want to break into the market.
Right.
And it's just this sort of, it's like Japanese
RPG
RPG
they're trying to be as
boy
safe
band.
as possible for the Japanese market.
So now what you're saying is there's a conspiracy theory sort of thing going on, and I don't know that I buy into that. I think that Sakaguchi and Mistwalker makes these sorts of games because that's the sort of games that they like to make.
I don't think anybody who really looks at what's going on here doesn't think that Sakaguchi was told to make a Dragon Quest clone and to make a Final Fantasy clone. That is what he was told to do, and that is what he's doing. And
I disagree.
And it's okay.
I disagree.
I think there's some truth to both sides.
When you hire the artist and the musician from those franchises to do your games.
Because those are the games they like to make. They make what they like to make.
Also,
why would you expect them to make something different? You think they're going to suddenly go out and make Mass Effect? That's not the sort of game that they make.
But you're fine with not moving the needle on anything in the genre.
What do you mean by moving the needle? I mean, I am fine with not feeling an obsessive need to come up with a new battle system just to have a new battle system.
But not even that. I mean, it's cookie cutter. You've seen it. I mean, everything about both these games. When Andrew was describing it, it was just take your pick from any game from the last 10 years. It has a little bit from here and a little bit from there, but it's all derivative. There's nothing that they're really innovating on with it.
I'm specifically staying out of Blue Dragon because I have not played it, so I can in no way intelligently argue it. So I'm not going to say a word about it. And if they are just simply taking characters that we've seen before and putting new names and faces on them and doing stories that we've already done before, that is a whole other issue. But if the issue is just that, they're doing the same sort of game, that kind of ticks me off because I like those games. I would play more of them.
I love JRPGs. I'm excited to play Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey.
I got to tell you,
but
the idea of Sakaguchi...
I'm a lot more excited about Final Fantasy 13 than both those games put together.
Why? Because who's making Final Fantasy 13 that is more exciting to you than Sakaguchi doing his thing?
It's the FFX team, and I really like Final Fantasy 10. And
I really like Final Fantasy 10 too, but you were just slapping Lost Odyssey around for being derivative of it.
Right, and Final Fantasy 13 isn't Final Fantasy 10 again. They're changing everything. So
I will say, as far as the character design of Lost Odyssey goes, it's a little different than Akira Toriyama just going through the motions.
I will say the character art is interesting.
Yeah. They have Takahiko Inoue, who did a Slam Dunk in Japan, which is very popular, sort of not very well known here, but it's really one of the better manga anime series from the last 15 years.
And it's a much less cartoony style. It's more realistic.
No, he's a good designer. I think people will like his stuff.
I like his
stuff.
It's
going to be interesting to see what happens with Lost Odyssey because I don't know whether this was put out there or not, but it's not going to be on the show floor at TGS.
Well, but it's not playable, which is weird considering it it comes out in Japan December 6th. It's coming out here in America in February, which is lots sooner than expected. So we'll all get to see this pretty soon. We have a lot of games to get through. Let's keep going. Okay. Also from Microsoft press conference, they had a new Devil May Cry 4 trailer, which I'm really excited about. A lot of people are kind of sleeping on this game, but this trailer, if you watch it, it shows like obviously this game is almost finished. Tons of cutscenes, tons of levels, a lot of crazy shit happening. I think this game is going to surprise a lot of people.
What do you mean surprise? We've been jockeying it all along.
I know, but like overall, like talking to people around the office, all my friends, people are sleeping on it because it's coming out in like February. Like, oh, I already know Devil May Cry. It doesn't look that great. No, I think it's a really good game.
Do you think anyone's sleeping on this?
Yeah, I think.
Really?
I don't think it's getting anywhere near the attention that the previous games in the franchise.
Or like a Resident Evil 5, I think that's getting more hype. Well,
it is
for some reason,
right? And Devil May Cry is almost here. Like we're going to be playing this game.
I think people keep forgetting that it's so close. Like every time you bring it up, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, right, yeah, it's coming."
Well, and I think part of the problem is like the graphics are a little all over the place. Like the snow level we've seen wasn't that impressive, but now we see this cathedral level looks insane, and like there's some varying quality of visuals here. But I think it's going to be a very solid game. I like DMC 3. I like DMC 1. This game looks good.
Maybe I'm just too tuned into the series, so I guess to me, I've been thinking about it. I've been paying attention to it.
At TGS, we're both going to play it. We'll talk about it.
Right.
Okay. That was exciting. More in the exclusive realm, Kingdom Under Fire 3 got announced. They didn't even show it at their press conference. I don't know what's up with that. Microsoft wasn't even there. It's coming. I mean, Kingdom Under Fire 2, people don't even believe that existed. It really did come out for Xbox One. It was near the end, right?
Did that
anybody?
That Diablo-like spin-off thing in that
Something?
franchise that they showed last TGS, did that ever come out?
This may be the least liked game I've ever talked. No one likes this. Who likes this game?
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
I actually took the meeting with them in their suite.
It's Korean.
It's Korean.
Oh, it's Korean. Oh, that explains everything.
And they had great, like many of the games that come out of Korea aiming for the Western market, they have these huge, ambitious plans and these reams and reams of beautiful artwork, and then
Meh. Okay, the other small announcement that made me really excited was Q is bringing every Extend Extra Extreme, Exit, and Res HD to Xbox Live Arcade. And Res
HD.
Oh God, I love Res. Res is one of my favorite things.
And did you not play Extend Extra when it was on the debug here?
Not a fan. I like multiplayer. I don't like single player in that game.
Wow, dude, it's fun. I had a blast with it.
I love, and the fact that it's in
cool.
HD, I love even more. The only sad thing is I kind of wish it was on Wii because it's perfect for Wii.
Yeah, but the music, man, the sound's going to be awesome in 5.1.
Yeah.
And the other weird cute thing is they announced a PS3 game for PSN, but it's this strange anime licensed free game that you buy like cards for. I don't really understand it. It's baffling. If someone can explain this to me, make a thread.
It's a card battle, ignore it.
Yeah. Okay, now the big stuff. So then Square Enix comes to the stage to reveal their Xbox stuff. Everyone's really, really excited. And it's the real debut of Infinite Undiscovery, a game they announced a year ago at TGS. It's being made by Tri-Ace, makers of Star Ocean.
I love that name because it's so utterly meaningless.
Tri-Ace? Yeah.
No.
Infinite
Undiscovery. What the fuck does that mean?
Good question. And
tonight on Masterpiece Theater, Infinite Undiscovery.
They didn't show a lot. They showed some CG cutscenes, look really good, and they showed like a few really flash battle scenes. And it's kind of hard to tell. It looks like an action RPG.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, it looks way too similar to like Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy.
Of course it does. It's on the Xbox. Here comes the hate.
No, I'm a little disappointed in the direction that Japanese RPG developers are going with art. I think they're all trying to imitate like Final Fantasy 10.
I will say the main character looks like a generic anime hero. He could invent.
There was like
he has a headband, I think.
Doesn't he have an eye patch? Or there was one game. There were two games. There were
spiky hair, headband, eye patch.
Two trailers I watched
about Square character design and surprised at generic with headbands.
Trailers I watched one character had an eye patch. I can't remember which one.
I guess there'll be belts all over him and lots of
pieces.
Well, one character's wearing a mask. Actually, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, like the graphics again.
The graphics to me were fine. I just don't like the design heading in that too realistic direction. I mean, one of the reasons I got into Japanese RPGs from the beginning was just the art was more stylized, and I think there's a lot more that they could do with that. And a lot of just the stuff just feels way too soulless these days.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay positive about it because I do like Tri-Ace's games. They make lovable little games. I like the developer.
Yeah, from the trailer, there's no way you can gauge
too
gameplay.
Early. Yeah, I'd say
gameplay or plot or anything.
Too early to tell.
Yeah, but I can say that I don't like the art.
Okay.
Or it's derivative.
And then like the final big announcement from Square, everyone was like, "Oh, what's it going to be?" It was The Last Remnant, which was already announced, kind of, and they showed a new trailer. And I'm rooting for this game. I think it has some cool concepts.
Yeah, but that's an announcement of the already announced.
Right, but they just show new stuff.
But
And
I think,
again,
I think they're going to start pushing this franchise because I think long term we're going to see the Final Fantasy franchise slowing down in terms of how regular they.
well, yeah.
There's going to be the side stories, but the core Final Fantasies, like the root games, are going to be a lot further
How can it be
apart.
slowing down when they're releasing like 13 games?
I know, but
Final Fantasy 13?
They're
lot of
taking
pe-
a long time.
But a lot of people are only going to be most interested in 13, then 14.
So
and
the
side.
enumeration's going to slow down.
They need something to fill in those gaps,
Right.
other than Dragon Quest.
Yeah, and this Last Remnant is not a 360 exclusive. It's also coming to PS3, and it's still visually it looks like, somewhere like a better version of FF12, like high res FF12.
I
Like it
like
looks
it.
good.
I think it looks good.
It looks good.
Again, hard. Lost Odyssey was a lot easier to judge gameplay
Yeah.
versus the two trailers.
Yeah, Last Remnant's still kind of hard to tell. I don't think it's playable to show yet. So still, and it looks really complex. I did a preview in the new issue of EGM, and like the battles are like really complex. So
You know what Infinite Undiscovery sounds like? A Star Trek Next Generation episode.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Just happened to come to me. I was like, wow, you know what that sounds
So
like?
yeah, so far 360 Japan, it's a decent showing. They have some a lot of RPGs. They're trying to appeal to people more there, but overall, I wonder if we're going to see any more
It does have
surprises.
the whiff of desperation about
Yeah,
it.
like so. Do you?
What do you mean the whiff? It has the rotting stench
Yeah.
of desperation. I mean, I'm defending 360,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't think there's anybody here.
No,
that's
really,
gonna-
are you?
I'm defending it because of those games. I'm not going to be like blind and not say that. I mean, look,
Right.
they're
I
not
don't
gonna
think any one of these games is going to turn the tide. I think Ninja Gaiden 2 will play to the base and it'll do well. It'll do well in Japan for the base.
and someone inside Itagaki's organization will need to do the same thing that they did with Sigma.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see something a little different. And so far, the only thing we've seen different on 360 is Eternal Sonata, and that didn't do so well.
Well, we'll get to that in a
I
minute.
mean,
on
360
PS3.
is going to very quickly become Fortress America.
Well, so yeah, do we think anything else is going to come out at TGS proper for 360? Any big announcements? Any surprises? I don't, but
No.
Maybe Sakaguchi might hint at Blue Dragon 2, maybe. Or, yeah.
I heard it might be on DS. That's a rumor I've heard a long time, but we'll see. Well, moving on to the PlayStation 3. The big news coming out today was that Metal Gear Solid 4 is, in fact, playable to the general public on the show floor.
Has it ever done that before?
a playable demo of
I believe
an
so.
upcoming Metal Gear game?
And
I think
Shane,
Metal Gear Solid 2 was playable.
This
once.
early?
It
comes out at
any
spring.
sort of event?
Yeah.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 was playable.
Right. And the other announcement is that Ryan Payton, our good friend Ryan Payton, one of the producers, he's revealed that the trailer they're showing is full of spoilers. So I'm like,
watch at your own risk.
yeah, I don't know. Like,
It's already been
I have
full
to
spoilers.
I have to
at this point.
cover it for one up. So I guess there goes my spoiler free for MGS4.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
But I'm
rail on that.
I'm really excited to play MGS4. And Ryan was saying
surprised.
and
I'm stunned.
And Ryan was saying they took the notes for that users gave them feedback from the Leipzig stuff, and
Right.
they've changed some of the camera. They've changed
Really?
some stuff. Yeah, so
But this sexy Wolf-ass is still there.
Sexy Octopus also there. So yeah, MGS4 gonna rock my world. Also, will be revealed. There's gonna be a big, Nomura Theater at the Square Enix booth where they're gonna show new 13 and Versus 13 trailers. Probably like 10 seconds of new footage in each one. Like seriously, every fucking show, it's the same trailer we've all seen 100 times with 5 seconds of new
They're
information.
going to show like a third character maybe this time.
Known well too well.
Yeah, in 2010 we'll see like 10 seconds of new information. Okay, got announced this weekend from Mitsu, Trusty Bell, aka Eternal Sonata, the game that just came out for the Xbox 360.
It's coming out this week.
You reviewed that.
Week.
You reviewed that
Yes.
game, and it's decent-ish.
It's all right. It's sort of on par with Blue Dragon.
Yeah.
Like both of those games, they're not bad,
Right.
but they're not going to blow people away.
Right.
They're on the 360.
And the PS3 version is going to have two new.
Will you shut the fuck up?
Well, actually, Garnet. Now this game is coming to the PlayStation 3 in 2008 with.
Oh,
So it's awesome now.
I'm gonna cast it right now. It'll get at least a point higher on game.
Well,
Are they going to be
game
any upgrades?
rankings.
Are they going to make it 30 hours instead of 20 hours?
There are two new playable characters and a new costume dress-up system.
Mark it right here.
Actually, the chicks in that game aren't so hot. so I
Take
don't
your
know about
choice,
that.
Metacritic or game rankings. The score will be a point higher.
Other new stuff coming to PS3 at TGS. Bumpy Trot. Remember
That's Steambot Chronicles.
Steambot Chronicles for PS2 here, a bizarre niche Atlas title.
You know, Jeremy loves
did.
that series.
So it's getting a PSP sequel and a PS3 sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, whatever. Atlas announced new Persona for PS3. I'm
Oh, really?
stoked as
I didn't
hell
hear about
for that.
Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, Persona 3 rocks my world. I love it. Persona 4.
Is this going to be like an actual new Persona game, or
whole
is it?
new Persona game for PS3?
Oh.
Ooh, nice.
I wonder what you think about Persona on Xbox 360.
Well,
Whatever platform Persona is on, I'm going to play.
I'm saying they could port it here because, like, now in Japan, because 360 is dead there, dead in the water more or less. Third parties are doing multi-platform versions of games in America and only putting them on PS3. Like,
That's not going to be just Japan. You're going to see that
we're
in
gonna see that in Europe
too.
as
like
well.
Silent Hill 5 got announced in Japan only for PS3, but it's coming out for both here. So
yeah, it wouldn't be too hard to port it.
yeah, so they haven't said Persona is coming to 360. It's possible.
Yeah. Whatever it's on, I'll play it.
Ace Combat 6 is coming to PS3 next year. Big surprise there. It was a timed exclusive on the 360.
Right.
Other exciting stuff, Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. I know
Oh
you're
my
going to
God.
get some hands-on time with that.
Oh my God, dude! I have to tell you, I almost wet myself the other day because
Jesus.
I'm going to be going to the factory. Yep, get to go to
Dude,
Polyphony
they have
Digital
an awesome
Studios.
office.
Dude, I cannot tell you how excited I am to do
You should
that.
take a nap in their sleep room
or under a desk.
or under a desk.
I'm telling you, dude, I cannot wait to go. You know what a car nut I am, number one, and you know that Gran
Right.
Turismo like fucking rocks my
But
world.
the big question for me, I know GT5 looks pretty. We've seen it. Is DualShock 3 what I want it to be? And what I want it to be is analog feedback on the sticks. Make it so. That's what I want.
That's pretty challenging.
what I want.
Dude. That would be.
That's what I want.
That might be hard in something
That's
that
what I
small.
Yeah. And the amount of, like the nature of the gimbal it would take to run it would be really it's fragile.
Gimbal.
I don't even know what that is.
If I'm on the drive, I'll get my Mitsubishi.
Yeah. Next up, White Knight Story. I've also heard it might be called White Knight Chronicle now.
So
Playable,
level 5, right?
playable, level 5's stunning action RPG.
Yeah.
You had some chub for that last year.
Dude, I've huge shove for that. This is the game that, like, I watched that trailer and thought to myself, I've always wondered if ever a JRPG could walk that plank, or, walk that line, I should say, and actually make the jump to real strong Western presence and strong Western
Although you
popularity.
do get in a giant robot, right? You can you grow to giant
Well,
robot
yeah.
size.
That's every game.
Yeah.
That's not exactly Western, but
There's
I'm
that
excited
part.
about it.
But the art style, and just the whole visual presentation that it has, I don't know, it just pops off the screen
Well,
to me in a somewhat different way
And
than
I
other
think
Japanese RPGs
this is like
have.
the real coming out party for level 5. They've kind of proven themselves to be like the new hotness. Like
Yep.
the people said, "Oh, they the next Square Enix." Maybe they have a lot of talent. They made
They have a lot of talent.
They
Yeah,
made a
the
lot
only
of
thing
great
that was even
games.
vaguely disappointing was Rogue Galaxy, and even that was pretty good.
It was still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything else they've done has been really good, actually.
I'd
So,
love to see him go back to the Dark Cloud series.
Yeah,
definitely.
Dark Cloud 2 showed a lot of promise.
Yeah.
Well, I can guarantee you, White Knight, I will be all over that. That is one game I'm definitely looking forward to checking out.
Another game announced as a PS3 exclusive, Star Ocean 4. They announced Star Ocean 4 a few months ago at the Square Enix party, but they didn't say what platform it was for. But at the same time, they announced Star Ocean 1 and 2 remakes for PSP, so you kind of imagine it was staying a PlayStation.
I say go
brand.
back to Star Ocean 2 for this one. Stay away from Star Ocean 3.
Yeah, Star Ocean 3's battles infinitely flawed, but it's still a well-produced game, but bad battles. So 4, I hope they fix the battles.
Yeah.
But that's Triace again, the good guys. It's not playable. I think it'll be a teaser. That's it. Soul Calibur 4 is actually multi-platform, both PS3 and 360, and they revealed a new character. Her name is Hilda. She is like a
Is she like a Ivy where she's got a little...
no, she's like
Stuff going
she's
on?
like female Siegfried. She's like a chick. She's a chick in armor.
She's a German barmaid.
Kind of actually, yeah, Hilda. So
She attacks with steins.
as a Soul Calibur nut, I'm excited about seeing Hilda. Once again, not playable, but I think there's a new trailer. Other big thing announced is Ryuga Gokuto 3, aka Yakuza 3. And the Yakuza name is kind of a little misleading here because this one, as opposed to being set in modern day Japan, is set in the Edo period. It's
Wait, what? It's
feud-
set in both, or...
No, this one is just
just Edo?
feudal Japan. And if you're not familiar with the series,
Actually, I don't think Edo was technically
feudal. It's
but,
before pre-feudal. You're right.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar, Yakuza came out here. It's a kind of an adventure action RPG from Sega, a little bit like Shenmue, but more.
It's the very top of my list. It's the
a
very top
cool-
of my pile of shame.
I was a big fan of Yakuza.
So is it like old school Yakuza, like back in the day?
Right, you're like-
I'm up for that.
and the visuals, I think, for Sega, and this is a PS3 exclusive, for Sega, it looks really good.
Now, is it known if this is coming out in America yet, or?
Well, first we got to get Yakuza 2.
yeah, they.
And I think that's going to get announced pretty soon for America. And with the rumor I hear is subtitle not dubbed for that one.
What platform?
PS2.
Yakuza
PS2.
2.
Yeah,
Yakuza
that's-
2.
And then 3 is...
3 is PS3. Comes out spring 2008 in Japan. So I think we probably won't get that till like next
Yeah,
fall.
they must have gotten around SCA, or SCA must have changed their policies because that's why they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think they may be laxing the policies now
Yeah.
towards the
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
later years. Okay, some other new things got announced. A game called Rainy Woods. It sounds like it's a survival horror game by Marvelous MMV Marvelous, and it sounds like Silent Hill. You're an FBI agent. It's coming to both 360 and PS3.
That's Harvest Moon people.
Yeah, it's gonna be shown at the show. I'm excited. I like survival horror.
Survival Horror by the Harvest Moon team.
Not the same
Really?
team. Not the same team necessarily.
Well, it might be.
It could be
cows. And,
maybe you marry a cow. I don't know. Okay. Also,
I got a packet of seeds.
the Loco Roco screensaver. The name is like Kokorokecho something. Anyway, it comes out the first day of TGS in Japan. I'm not sure when it's coming out here in America, but it looks cool. I actually got a chance to play with it, and it isn't really a game per se, but it is cool. It's really fun to watch.
I don't think it's a good sign when you say it's not a game per se.
Well, it's a game / screensaver, and it's almost more fun.
It's like a toy.
Yeah, and it's almost like more fun as a screensaver because like there's these colossal levels you can watch the Loco like go through the whole level, and it's kind of like a giant machine.
I think that's cool.
It's cool, and it's hopefully cheap. My big question marks for PS3 at TGS are Africa,
Oh my God.
my potential game of the millennium.
That's not game of any millennium.
It's game of my millennium, and I've heard that the Shadow of the Colossus eco team is working on 2 projects.
Whoa.
Just show me one. Just show me one, please. What else you guys think about PS3 at TGS?
PS3 at TGS. Well, I think overall, this is one of those line in the sand moments for this console. I think. I mean, I hate to say that, and I know that a lot of people are going to say, "Oh no, it's too early." Blah blah blah. It really is because they actually have.
I think it's do or die time.
No, I don't think it's do or die time.
But it's.
I think it's
to make a difference.
I think it's an opportunity to make a difference. I think this is a place where, with a really strong showing, that they can captivate the imagination, much like they did, in the second wave of PS2, and put their foot down on 360. I think there's an opportunity to really gain the upper hand.
Well, also, this is the TGS that hits when the PS3 was originally supposed to come out.
Right.
Right.
And so you look at this lineup. I think there'll be a couple more surprises that we don't have, that we haven't talked about yet.
Hopefully, some big ones on. I'd like to see everybody surprise me.
I think I think you're going to continue to see stuff. I think Burnout is the tip of the iceberg as far as seeing. Wow, you know what? On PS3, this thing looks better than 360. And I know I made the argument. I know people, a lot of people laughed at me a year ago when I made this argument. I think it starts to give some more credence to that idea that PS3 is going to move ahead of 360 in the next 18 to 24 months. And when it gets to that point, Microsoft's going to seriously consider telling you what the next Xbox is going to be about.
I don't know about that, but I think the thing that'll swing it for PS3, the more I talk to people, is Europe.
Yeah.
Because the 360 and 360 games are doing nothing.
They're falling flat.
They're doing okay in the UK, but in Germany, France, and Spain, they're doing 0.
Sony has a lot of brand loyalty in Central Europe.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of eyes in Europe focused on this TGS, and that's where the opportunity.
So we're going to see DualShock 3. Yeah, is that confirmed, or is that?
That is confirmed. DualShock 3 will be a TGS.
And presumably the elusive firmware 2.0 that actually runs in the background and isn't a separate application.
I hope so. I want XMB in my games.
The one thing I'm disappointed is that we're not seeing a lot of. At least up until now, we haven't seen a lot of established franchises go to PS3. A lot of it is going on to Wii.
Right. Well, that's when we see things like Persona and Yakuza in Japan. In Japan, those are big franchises.
Yeah, like on the Tales of games, they've announced that for Wii. Right. But I mean, I think it would show a lot of strength for the PS3 if they were to announce like games like that. But it seems like some of those lesser hardcore games that they're being ported to the Wii and the DS, and I think in order for the PS3 to, gain more popularity among sort of the hardcore people, it needs those
right. Like if Wii starts to become the successor to PS2, then that's a problem.
Yeah, I think it will
absolutely.
be.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll be really interested to see is what sort of response, and being in Japan, getting actually to gauge it there, what sort of response like a Little Big Planet has. I don't know whether or not that resonates with that.
Yeah, we're not really talking about like the Western games you already know about that will be there like that, but it could be a hit there with Japanese kids.
It could be a hit, but does it?
Japanese kids love putting stickers on shit.
Right, and so I wonder, will it click? Will it not click?
And
is that something where they will consider doing something along the lines of like what The Sims has done, where they change the franchise to match the culture?
Little Big Planet suddenly Hello Kitty.
I don't know.
Big Kitty.
So are we saying essentially that this TGS is it's a PS3 event?
It's a PS3 event.
Well, okay, before
Sony event.
We got some more things to talk about, and those are the DS and the Wii. Although Nintendo will not be at TGS. Earlier in the year,
third parties will.
Yeah, earlier in the year, it was a rumor that Nintendo was. They're not. But there are some big games going to be there. First off, let's start with DS. And I got to hold up this visual aid I got here, which is Final Fantasy IV has a release date now. It's coming out. It's a fan favorite Final Fantasy, and it's coming to DS, and it looks a lot better than the Final Fantasy 3 port that came out last year. But as a big fan of FF4, I got to say I'm upset with these character redesigns. What I have here is
They aren't character redesigns, as I'll show you in a minute.
Well, so in game, the characters are cute little SD guys, but like they have new art for them. And Iridia, who I thought was like 13, Jeremy's saying she's like 9.
Well, no, this is the grown. First of all, spoilers for like a
That's the grown.
16-year-old
Okay,
game.
so this picture I'm looking
at some point, Rydia grows up. This is not the 9-year-old Rydia.
I was gonna say because she is tarted up. She looks like a harlot, like a streetwalker.
Take a look. This is the original Amano art.
Okay.
Take a look at that. Take a look at that. It's almost identical. Almost identical.
Well, except Amano looks like he scribbled on the back of
yeah,
toilet paper.
First of all,
Feel like I am at Comic-Con or something with these two.
Also,
This is beyond belief. They're looking at you. You got picture this now, right now. Andrew and Shane have their little printouts, and they're feverishly poring over
She's
them.
like a D cup now, dude. She was supposed to. I don't know.
As I said, hot.
I say inappropriate.
No, also they got rid of the
Well, you got a problem with
Amano
boobs?
man face there.
Yeah, that's true.
He's always been bad with that.
Wait, you have a problem with breasts?
On a 12-year-old.
That chick is not 12. She's like 25 or
Well,
she's an adult.
But I have been hearing FF4 is awesome on DS. I hear like a lot of the load times, the plagued FF3 are gone, and I'm really excited. It's one of my favorite FFs, and I'm totally stoked for that game. So
Okay.
that on DS is exciting.
Nice visual aid.
Also-
Can I borrow this?
You can also Dragon
Use that later.
Yeah, I might need.
Also, Dragon Quest Overload, DQ4, DQ5, DQ6, and most importantly, DQ9. However, DQ9, after being pushed to next year in Japan, they're releasing a lot of new assets. It's not going to be playable, which is kind of a big deal.
I also don't know about those Toriyama designs for that
Which
either.
platform are you talking about here?
DS is all DS.
All DS?
Square Enix is in love with DS.
Holy
Well,
shit.
It's the most popular platform by far in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Dragon
outsold.
Quest is the most popular RPG, so why
Right.
wouldn't you release for the most
But
popular?
so what this printout I have of DQ9 is showing some of the new character designs because the idea is like Toriyama, the famous artist who did Blue Dragon, Dragon Quest, Dragon Ball. He did like every possible face and hair and outfit in the world. So you make your own character.
It looks like a sort of. Is that a job system or is it?
I think this is
more
just
of a
character
create
creation, but
character.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
so you can make an infinite number of like very similar looking Toriyama characters.
The chick with the turban's got going on.
Exactly in Dragon Quest. I'm excited. In DQ9, it's multiplayer, it's online, it's really pushing the franchise forward. I wish it was playable.
Did you just tell me you were excited about generic Toriyama characters?
I am about designing my own. That's exciting, huh? Right.
He uses generic designs
Hey,
to make
dude,
your own
I am a
character.
Drockway nut. I love that shit.
Next. I won't say
Tales,
it.
okay, Tales of Innocence is the new Tales of game for DS from Namco. The first one they put out was so shitty that it's not even coming out in America.
Yeah, it's not coming out here.
So this one looks less shitty.
Do you have any idea?
Still looks a little shitty.
Have you heard anything about whether that one's coming here?
If it's not that shitty.
Yeah. No, I think that.
I think it's going to be playable at the show, so I'm excited about it.
Yeah, Namco seems to be any opportunity they have to bring the Tales system here. They're doing that.
Okay. Also, in the world of DS third parties, there's tons of non-games. We're not even going to talk about those. Here's a real game: Legend of Kage 2.
Ah.
Legend of Kage. If you're really old like me, you may have been a fan of it. It was
No one was ever a fan of the Legend of Kage. You were a fan? You were a fan? You got past like 15 seconds in the game?
I beat the Legend of Kage, dude.
Really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I bow down to you.
You're old. You remember Legend of Kage?
What the hell?
It's old.
It was like one of the first Nintendo.
You may have called it
Nintendo
Legend of Cage.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what you call it.
You fucking twat. Of course I knew it was not the Legend of Cage.
Everyone thought it was the Legend of Cage.
I thought it was Legend of Cage.
Everyone did.
So in 1984, you're like, oh.
Well, no, he was like 30 at that point.
Oh, I like this kid's style. So you're not excited? Okay, I'm excited.
Whether it's Cage or Kage, it's still Kage.
All right, moving on.
I'm optimistic.
Moving on.
Next.
On the Mistwalker front, Ash. It's called Archaic Sealed Heat. It's this RPG. It looks insane for DS. It's like the best DS graphics ever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with the DS, it actually seems like Mistwalker might be doing something a little different.
Yeah, that's going to be playable. No one really knows much about it. Very mysterious. It's their first DS project. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. And Treasure announced Bangayo 4-player. You remember Bangayo? Okay, no one here remembers. Bangayo came out for Dreamcast. It was originally an N64 game in Japan.
Oh, I remember
it's
that.
It's a simple 2D shooter.
Yeah.
Shooter/platformer.
It's Treasure, of course. It's a simple 2D shooter.
But yeah, so there's a new version coming out for DS, 4-player, map edit, online play. So the hardcore are going apeshit, of course.
Sam Kennedy just shat himself
while creaming his jeans. Yeah. So
wow.
At the same time, it's So yeah, the hardcore, they're excited for that. I'm
That's
excited.
what interns are for.
I'm excited for that. What else we got going on here?
I see you've got a Sonic
Clean up
RPG.
aisle 5.
Okay, in a treasure offshoot, they also announced Ikaruga coming to Xbox Live Arcade.
Oh, really?
Yes,
That's
nice.
actually that's
and
cool.
Sin and Punishment.
Wait, didn't we know that already?
That's the
we
one.
did.
That's Sin and Punishment is the one people always want, right?
Right, Sin and Punishment coming to a virtual console. It's coming in Japan, also coming in Australia, which makes you think English version coming to America? Question
Well, I mean,
mark?
if it's got on Australia, it's
Because Sin
a
and
lot
Punishment
easier
is a late N64 game made by Treasure, published by Nintendo, never came out in America. It's really good, actually. It's kind of a directed shooter, like a scripted shooter where you're running around aiming at things. It's very fun. And it's like, people should play it. So hopefully it comes out here. And the last DS game I have written down here are the Sega's Sakura Tyson Dungeon Crawler. Did you see this?
I
You don't
missed
care?
that one.
Anyway, that's coming out. And maybe Sonic RPG. Maybe Sega would show a little bit of the BioWare Sonic RPG. Tease it, I'm thinking. Maybe.
That would be a good idea. I think that would actually be a really good idea.
But I think what this list proves is that without Nintendo there, the really big DS games, except for Square, not really going to be FTGOs.
There were some interesting titles there.
Yeah,
I think you're underselling it a little bit by saying
If Sonic RPG is there, I think a lot of people will be really interested in it. 'Cause
And-
it could kind of reboot Sonic as
Yeah.
like a valid thing again.
This is true.
not to
No,
gloss past it, but you brought up Ash. Ash is pretty impressive and pretty exciting. I think that's really gonna. I think it's gonna captivate the Japanese audience. I think those of us who are into that kind of game are gonna look at Ash and be, wow, that's
Okay, before we move on to Wii, let's break into PSP since we just did DS.
okay.
On PSP, the big news going on right now in Japan is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. It came out, it's already out right now, and there were lines and lines of people, huge lines, lining up to buy it and to buy the limited edition. Like, no one has ever lined up to buy any PSP game in Japan. So this is a turning point for PSP. And I've said that I think this will outsell Monster Hunter 2.
I think it's selling hardware.
It's obviously selling the 77,777 limited edition FF7 pack-in 10th anniversary bundles.
wow.
So I think it's going to sell over 2 million copies in Japan, the game.
Sure.
And I think it's going to be a huge turning point. And the other big thing is people have already beaten it. If you beat the game twice,
Spoilers.
spoilers, if you beat the game twice, you unlock a cinema that is really more or less like the remember the PS3 FF7 demo from 2 E3s ago?
Yeah.
It's basically that. And it's like, to be continued in Final Fantasy VII. Which, if that's not the biggest cock tease ever for the FF7 remake, what is? I mean, people are like, well, that just means that this game leads directly into the PS1 game. No, it doesn't.
Maybe it does.
Maybe it does, but I think it's Square One's going to be like, you know what you want? We're not giving it to you yet.
I don't want it.
They are going to keep twiddling that, and that's one of those classic cases. They're going to keep twiddling it and twiddling it and twiddling it. And when there's enough hardware installed base, they're going to drop that shit and
you know one
sell
thing companies
$1
like?
billion.
They like making money.
Yeah.
So it's going to come eventually.
What
but,
year did 7 come out?
that'd be 10 years ago.
Yeah,
in,
97.
in Japan. It came
Right.
out in 98 here. So that's exciting.
No, it came out in 97.
Oh, you're right. The end of the year. It came out
It was my,
January 97 Japan.
freshman year of college.
If they are
September.
going to announce, this would be the year to do it. 10th anniversary.
Well, and at the Square Enix party, we asked the people who had been working on this game, is this the last game in the compilation of FF7? No, it is not. It is not the end of the compilation.
Milking that thing.
There you go. The other big announcement that you should look forward to is Kingdom Hearts 0 for PSP, among some other Kingdom Hearts 0 games for other platforms. Other things to look for PSP, they announced a Hot Shots Golf 2 for PSP, coming out later this year in Japan.
Instant buy for me.
It's a big franchise for PSP.
I love Hot Shots Golf on PSP.
And
so
little things to look forward to. Potapon, that crazy little game
Oh,
they
shit,
briefly
yeah.
showed. It's gonna be. I hear it's gonna be playable.
Oh, awesome.
It's crazy 2D artistic. They showed it at TGS very briefly. How would you even explain it?
I don't know, but it had a similar vibe to some of the darker Loco Roco levels.
Yeah, it was
very sort of silhouette graphics and
Yeah, hard to explain. Looks clever, creative. We'll talk about it next week. And Echochrome is going to be there. The crazy game where it's kind of like Crush, where you're moving the stage
presumably
around.
they'll explain the distribution strategy for that.
Right, because it's both PS3 and PSP.
Yeah.
that would be nice.
So, yeah, PSP, we'll see some things. And then we get to Wii. And with Nintendo not being there, we're forced to deal with third-party games, which means we'll be seeing things such as Knight's Journey into Dreams, which a new trailer came out yesterday, and it looks all right.
I get the feeling that's already been written off by most people as not a good idea
But
anymore.
I like Knights, and I always wanted a sequel to Knights, and I'm excited about trying this. But it definitely doesn't look too far removed from the original.
Yeah.
It's very close in spirit and in visuals to the Saturn
It's
game.
very similar.
Capcom announced they're working with Camelot on a new golf game called We Love Golf. These are the guys who originally made Hot Shots and Mario Golf,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
and they're very talented, and the game looks quite good, and it's going to be playable. I think that's going to be a surprise hit of the show. I've also heard that some publishers are going to have some Wii Fit killers. Like, look for Wii Fit killers. Seriously. All right.
Are these Wii Fit killers that use the Wii Fit controller?
Possibly. Mario.
I got to think we're going to start seeing some branded fitness, like, someone's going to do the 24-hour fitness fit game for Wii. Yeah. It's got to be coming.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, which comes out in November, is going to be playable in big form there. I've been kind of lukewarm on it. Haven't tried it yet. Tecmo is going to have their Rygar Battle of Argus upgraded PS2 port.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a PS2 port. Is it even upgraded?
Probably not.
Possibly.
Yes, it uses Waggle now.
Suda51 will have his long-awaited No More Heroes in playable form, and I hope it's better than Killer 7. Killer 7 has just a lot of clever ideas and good art and bad gameplay. Let's not open that can of worms. Another game got announced, Art Truck Battle. If you're aware of the Art Truck phenomenon, you paint your trucks and you battle them. That's coming to Wii.
I didn't know that was a phenomenon.
How do you battle them?
I'm not sure. And my final Wii game is a game from Sega called Miburi and Teburi. Did you see this game, John?
No, I did not.
I have some printouts. I have some printouts of this.
The name intrigues the
hell out of me.
I
have some printouts of this game. You should pass these around. If you haven't,
If
you haven't seen this game, you spell that Miburi and Teburi. You should go to Google and look for these screenshots.
That is the finest chest hair and mustache combination I have ever seen in my life.
How would you explain what you're looking at right now?
It's somewhat.
Let me see.
It's men in leather pants with large mustaches.
Oh my
like a
God.
Choaniki?
Like video of the guys on cartoony graphics backgrounds.
Wow.
Dancing and apparently.
Oh, it's a hard gay. Is it a hard gay game?
No, I think it's a hard gay ripoff. Hard gay.
Okay. Say.
That's a good hard gay impression. Hard gay is this famous.
Dude, I have all the hard gay.
Yeah, he loves hard
gay. Hard gay is like my idol.
How would you explain hard gay?
He's like a guy who appears on Japanese variety shows that he's like a biker guy who all his clips are like living La Vida Loca, and he goes around and helps people in Japan.
And he's gay, but
no, he's not gay. The dude is not gay. The actual guy is not gay.
Right.
He plays like a guy who might be gay.
But what this game looks like is something this game looks like something that would have come out for 3DO. And you would have laughed at it in 1990.
Dude, I expect Pee Wee Herman to walk across there any moment.
The graphical style reminds me of is Pit Fighter.
Yes.
But I'll give it credit for being insane and wacky, and maybe it's fun to play. We have no idea how this thing plays.
It's hard gay involved. I'm there.
Yeah, and the final news out of Japan, they had an arcade show. It happened yesterday, and the big stuff out of there was a new Sega Lindbergh racing game called Sega Race TV, a new horrible-looking fighting game from Capcom called Gundam vs. Gundam, and Tekken 6 with Bob, the morbidly obese American, playable.
Outstanding. On that happy note, I'm going to take us over to the break. When we come back, Shane is going to handle news duties. That's not anything anyone wants to miss.
This is the Shane Show today.
It is the Shane Show.
You told me I was in charge. Look what happens. We talk about hard gay.
He's an organized guy.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll leave you all to read into that, whatever you may. And while you do that, we're going to wet our whistle for a moment. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Brought to you by the Entertainment Consumers Association. A single voice may not be heard, but a collective voice cannot be ignored. Speak up and keep your favorite games on the shelves. Join the ECA at www.theeca.com.
And now playing the role of the news guy, here he is, Mr. Shane Bettenhausen.
I'm not Patrick. You don't touch my bathroom area like you do his. So starting out here, we got Take-Two heralds the success of BioShock and hints at a sequel. They've shipped 1.5 million units worldwide, and they're looking forward to it being a new franchise. We have the chairman Strauss Zelnick of Take-Two.
Strauss Zelnick.
Saying, quote, "I would say probably, roughly at every 2-year schedule will be optimal. And if you look historically, that has been largely the case with GTA. And I expect we'd apply roughly the same strategy to BioShock, because BioShock is shaping up to be a very important franchise."
Motherfucker apparently became British somewhere in there.
His name is fucking Strauss Zelnick.
Well, that doesn't sound English. That sounds more like your people.
Yeah, it's like German.
Yeah.
I can't do a German.
Hold on, let me see. What's the quote here? The quote is more. I would say probably roughly on every 2-year schedule would be optimal.
So yeah,
That's
like
Russian. What the fuck are you doing? Come on.
but like so, everyone loves BioShock, and look, you can look forward to one every 2 years. That's cool, right?
Every 2 years? No, that's not cool.
It's better than every year.
I hate it whenever you're trying to slap a time frame schedule on game development. It's that far out.
Time frame on development, it kills it.
Yeah.
It kills it.
You need
I
to.
don't think it needs a sequel.
It doesn't need a sequel. I agree, and I would agree with you on that
I heard the bad ending leaves room open for the sequel, though.
But you know what? I think that they could do
Spoilers.
something interesting. They could do something interesting building off of the bad ending, but not a true sequel. Just leave it. Leave it be what it is, and go do something else great.
Speaking of sequels, people who downloaded the new Tony Hawk's Proving Ground demo this week saw quite a surprise when they saw a poster on the wall that says, "Sometimes a man will shoot back, even from beyond the grave. Gun, Marauder's Ghost." What? Sequel to Gun? That's a weird place to announce it, huh?
Yeah.
They're quiet. They're not talking. But obviously, Gun sequel.
I know that was one of their. Even though it didn't do that well, I think that's something that they like, their pet project. So
it
wouldn't
was
surprise
also
me.
critically acclaimed.
I like Gun. I mean, it looked like shit, but I like the game.
Yeah, no.
It was pretty ugly.
It was
Yeah.
ugly, but it was very well executed ugly.
Yeah.
One of the best Western games ever.
I'm guessing that if it offers an opportunity for the design team to go out and go horseback riding again quite a bit, that it'll probably get made.
Moving right along. As we predicted many moons ago, the Wii has now officially overtaken the Xbox 360 in global sales. Yes.
Surprise.
Right now, 9 point something.
Okay, the Wii is barely edging out the 360 at 9 million versus 8.9 million for the 360 and 3.7 million for the PS3. So Wii is winning the new gen war.
but
as
it's
it
really
would be.
competing with PS2.
This is true. And this moves us into the good news of the day. Oh, the August MPDs are here, hot off the press. And surprisingly, again,
John rather liked that.
That was great that you did the same noise.
pretty good. The Wii has beaten the DS for the second month in a row. What the
Really?
fuck? The Wii wins with a stunning 403.6 thousand. Well, that's wrong. 403,600 units for the month.
Wow.
With the DS trailing right behind it at 383,000.
Can you imagine? Let's just stop for 1 second right here. What's the month for June?
This is the August.
To August. Sorry, August.
Right.
In August, selling almost 500,000 units of hardware.
And they sold 425,000 the month previous in July.
What the hell?
Wii is still hard to find, man. Like as
Yeah.
John was saying, at the Metreon, there's a Wii demo here in San Francisco, and there's a line to play Wii Sports.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, it's huge at the Metro. I mean, like you can play Metroid in the Metreon right now, and there's people lining up to play Wii Bowling.
Yeah.
Again, we've argued this a bunch of times. What the hell are people playing on the damn thing? Are they
I
really
have no
just,
idea.
Are they just playing Wii Fitness?
They're
And
playing Wii Sports.
Wii
and they're
Sports.
playing- They're playing.
Mario Party 8.
Yeah.
WarioWare.
All right, more hardware.
So who knew that like the guys at Radica were onto something so big? Radica makes those plug into the set-top
Right.
boxes. Apparently they were onto
Yeah.
a big deal.
All right, the other big number, the PS3. This is the first full month after the price rejiggering. I don't know if I'm gonna call it a price drop.
The price rejiggering.
And it sold a semi-respectable 130,000 units.
A semi-respectable.
That's better.
Actually, it's down from the month previous of 160,000 units.
Oh.
However, there were no major releases in the month of August.
There are never any major releases.
So it blipped up to 160 because it was like cruising around
Yeah.
the 90s for a couple of
That's
months.
true. Warhawk did come out the 28th of the month. It didn't really factor in too much.
Yeah.
Bringing up the rear were the PlayStation 2 outpaced the PS3 with 202,000 units. Excuse me.
Still.
And the
202.
and the PSP also outpaced the PS3 with 151,000 units.
Not
So
surprising.
202 of PS2.
I guess
What did 360 do?
that would be 276,000 units. I think bolstered by BioShock. Obviously, I think BioShock did sell hardware and Madden.
You look dire. I'd say 276 is a pretty good number for them. I bet they're pretty happy with
It's
that.
pretty good. Yeah, I think that's
You don't
good.
think they're happy with that?
I think they would rather never drop below 3.
Yeah,
But it's still it doubled the PS3 number.
Yeah.
It's a decent number.
It's a decent.
yeah,
number.
it's a good number.
Nothing to laugh at. And in the software side, the number one game isn't a surprise, but the platform it's on might be a surprise.
Okay,
Madden
Mm-hmm.
on the 360 and this is the number one selling game.
Not
of the month.
PS2.
Not PS2.
that is actually a surprise.
That shows you that a lot of the core Madden players have moved on.
That, core Madden players moving on or not, it amazes me that a console with this big of an installed base gap over the 360, like PS2 has so many more consoles in people's homes.
Part of the answer to this is the Madden for PS3 shouldn't have been 49. I mean, for PS2 shouldn't have been 49.
Yeah.
It should have been 39 or 29 maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an old console.
But if you only own a PS2, that's not stopping you from buying
Presumably
it.
Madden's all over the top 20. So give us the ranks of the different Maddens.
Okay, 360 Madden is number 1 with almost 900,000 units.
Yep.
PS2 is number 2 with 643.
All right, let's guess on number 3. Which one do you think?
What was 1 and 2?
1 and 2 were Madden and Madden.
No, 360.
No, in terms of platforms.
Maddens. Okay.
Platforms.
360 and PS2?
Mm-hmm.
Wii?
No.
I bet it was like one of the handhelds.
No.
No?
PS3
Really?
at number 4 with the 336,000 units, which is pretty good,
That's
actually.
very strong.
Considering it's not the best version of Madden by far.
Although, interestingly enough, I did notice the other day that at the end of the Madden commercial, they had, at least when I was watching it I was watching an NFL game, they had tacked on a 360 bumper at the end of it.
That means that Microsoft helped pay for that ad.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And actually, I noticed, I don't know if anyone out there is football fans, a predominance of video game ads during the first weekend of NFL football.
definitely.
Yeah, you see a lot of game ads. For
Tons
sporting
of
events.
stuntman
A lot of
ads.
beer and pizza
yeah,
ads, too. I was watching.
Oh,
But
yeah, that Oreo cookie pizza thing?
Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, you see a lot of video game ads during sports
All right,
and wrestling.
But to go down the Madden, so number 4 on the list was Madden for PS3. Number 11 is the Xbox One version. Number 12 is the
Xbox
Wii
One.
version.
Well, the Xbox One version outsold the Wii version?
Yes, and number 18 is the PSP version. The Wii version is not on the top 20.
See, I think the Madden player is sort of crosses over with like the Halo player, sort of the hardcore gamer, based on the Madden people I know. So that's not that surprising.
So BioShock made a stunning debut at number 3 with
That is fantastic. for
nearly
them.
500,000 units. That's quite
Congratulations to Ken Levine and the entire team. That's a fantastic job.
Oh, here's a sad one, though. How about We Play outselling Metroid Prime 3 corruption? Oh, yeah, it happened. Yeah.
But Metroid Prime 3, that was a short month for them.
It was a fairly short month. What day did it come out?
In the 20s.
Yeah.
20
It was
something.
only,
Late month,
I think it was
yes.
only a week and a half of sales. And
So they did very well for
they
the
did
time
well,
they came out.
218,000. Mario Strikers.
But still, what does that say about all the, like, there clearly wasn't a big pre-order game. For it to, like, you would have expected all of the hardcore Nintendo fans that
No,
that
it's
have
more of a hardcore
Wiis.
game.
But I mean, Metroid is a beloved franchise. You would expect all of the sort of, the non-games players to have gone out and bought it on day one.
Well, that's the question. Is the modern version still as beloved as the memories of the old game?
We sat here for fucking hours listening to Shane and Mark drone on about it.
I know we did, but what this says to me is that the nostalgia factor doesn't work as well with the retro game.
Well, I think the weirdest piece of Metroid Prime 3 trivia you may not be aware of is Metroid Prime 3 Corruption has never been announced for release in Japan. How about that? Not even announced. Yeah.
Really?
Really. Number 8, we got Guitar Hero 2 with guitar for PS2, hanging tough with an additional 150,000 units. That's nuts.
Nice.
Mario Party 8, again, hanging tough at number 9. Guitar Hero Encore, number 10. Brain Age 2, respectable at 13. Two Worlds, the Abomination, the Oblivion Abortion.
Or as Darren put it, fecal donut.
Wow.
Number 14, destroying the lives of roughly 100,000 people.
That's actually depressing.
Yeah, it is. And number 16, the last one I'm going to mention, High School Musical making the cut for the Nintendo DS.
Oh boy.
Woo, good month for NPDs. All right. Speaking of Guitar Hero 3, it's rocking its way to the PC and Mac. You're excited about that, Garden.
Garden?
Garden. You want to call you Garden?
Yes, Garden is very excited about that. Not really, but I mean, it's interesting to see that the franchise has built itself up big enough that it can now get someone to actually build peripheral and publish and produce it for PC.
This is
I actually know one thing. When I was at Konami and did some customer service with them, a lot of stuff that we would get was people looking for music games on the PC. There just wasn't a lot of that. And people would always talk about DDR, Carrier Revolution on the PC. And the Konami, of course, had no plans. But, I mean, there is a market there.
Yeah.
Well, as Yak is going to jump in and talk about on our board, the place for those people is still on the PC because of the modding community that's been grown up. It's very strong at Score Hero, where they've been doing, you can get almost any game if you have a PS2 capable of playing those sorts of discs.
Moving on, about a week ago, the Creative Arts Emmy Awards were held. Not the real Emmy Awards. These are like the ones they give out, a few weeks before, the not quite as sexy ones. And among the winners was the South Park episode "Make Love, Not Warcraft," the hilarious World of Warcraft send up.
I don't think so. My least favorite South Park episode in a long time.
Worst South Park ever. Says
Not the worst one. Not the worst one.
Okay.
But one of the worst ones in recent memory.
Well, I'm sure Blizzard's happy because it's kind of just a big ad for their game.
Yeah. That's why I didn't like it.
Yeah. The other big winner that night was Dick in a Box from Saturday Night Live.
Which you can't beat. I mean,
Can't beat that. So
I'd say Dick in a Box several levels above.
they couldn't say Dick in a Box, so they called it Blank in a Box. Apparently at the awards.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's my in a box.
Speaking of dicks and boxes, HBO has bought the rights to a documentary about Second Life.
Oh, you see, we were asking,
Yeah.
should we do this or not? What the hell? Why do people continue to slavishly
Apparently, it's
go
called
back to
it's
this
called
shit?
Molotov's Dispatches in Search of a Creator: A Second Life Odyssey.
Second Life has good PR. Let's move on.
Second Life has great PR because I can tell you, actually, Sharky jumps in. Sharky does all of our MMO coverage, and he jumps in there sometimes. And one time I was looking over his shoulder, and there is nothing happening in there except for, as Sharky described it to me, places where companies pay people to go and hang out and make it look like things
I don't know.
happening.
I know one human being who plays Second Life, and that's it.
Is it your twin brother?
Nah.
No, just asking. Your evil twin. But actually, when I read about this, it sounds kind of interesting. The documentary, composed of 7 mini episodes, brings the main guy in contact with surprisingly seedy aspects of the virtual world in searches of its creator, including cyberpunks, neo-Luddites, sex slaves, the king of all hobos, and perhaps most disconcerting of all, furries.
Oh.
Second Life is
There's furries in Second Life?
There's furries everywhere.
Yeah.
It is so
unfortunately.
dumb. It is become the whole. If you're a out of touch
Yes.
corporate person who has no idea what's hip, you can. Oh, look! I'm gonna make it. Read that crap again. That is the. It sounds like off of the bad. Oh my God! It's whole. Where is it? Show me where that is.
What, with the furries?
Yeah, where you're like, whatever. It's like you read off this list of all these things that are trying so hard to sound hip, and my response
Dude,
is,
furries aren't trying to sound hip.
No.
The
Trust
moment
me.
you can...
They just want to yiff.
Exactly.
The moment you know you can take a mainstream gaming article not seriously is when they mention Second Life, because
Yeah.
no one plays it.
In other bad news, Rockstar has announced that the PS3 exclusive LA Noire, it's been delayed until 2009.
What?
Yeah.
9?
2009.
Nine.
So
What, did they just push reset and start again?
I'm not sure what's going on with this.
Is LA Noire the elusive PS3 exclusive?
No, they
No,
said
it's
it's
not.
not
They said
LA
it's not.
Noire. And LA Noire has been in development for a long time,
Not sure
too.
what's going
Maybe
on
it
with
hasn't.
Rockstar in general, frankly.
maybe what they showed us was the pitch. Maybe what they showed us of LA Noire was the pitch.
Wow. And
I'm just saying.
Maybe. And our final news item is a big one. And if you've seen, this week, Microsoft finally debuted the Halo 3 TV ad campaign. There's several different ones. I've seen them all. And the crux of it is...
They're like Pokemon.
No, it's a... collect them all. It's a very artfully made, documentary-style thing set in a museum in the future where these old dudes, it's all live action, old dudes are recounting their tales of fighting in the war against the Covenant. And remembering what it's like to be around Master Chief, and it all climaxes with this insane diorama that this world famous miniature
In gameplay,
no game
right? And then there's plasma pistols.
Let me keep talking.
and
So this huge diorama shows all the Master's Chief, or what they're called, Spartans fighting the
Is
aliens.
there only one Master Chief?
There's
Luke is listening to this right now. He's like, "You fucking asshole!"
They're called Spartans fighting the Covenant, and then the center, this big scary Covenant dude is holding up the dead body of Master Chief in kind of a Christ-like pose, and at the end he comes back to life. He's holding this magic orb or grenade or something. The beautiful music is playing. It's all very evocative. And at no point does it show any gameplay. At no point does it tell you it's a game. You kind of have to know. It's very well done, though. But these ads have sparked off controversy, and that controversy was centered on David Jaffe's blog. God of War creator, outspoken David Jaffe. It's funny, when I told Patrick I was going to do this, he's like, I wouldn't touch that story. David Jaffe, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I'm touching this story.
Story. Yeah.
I'm touching it.
Touch it.
So David Jaffe on his Criminal Crackdown blog has posted an unedited AIM conversation between him and one of his friends, Adam, in development. Wow, where do you start? Here's Jaffe. He says, it's a decent ad, I think. I just don't get Halo. I don't think the story is all that special. I don't think the world or characters matter much. I don't know if it's a matter of my simply not getting it. or if Microsoft has simply purchased rabid fan reactions for what is a great game but nothing more.
Okay.
And then his friend
He's
Adam,
always been he had a big problem with the fact that EGM gave it 3 10s, and I'm
true.
glad Mark's not here because he would be exploding right now.
Well, and then his friend Adam says, the ad is insulting. And Jaffe's like, am I missing something? What's insulting about it? He's like, well, for one, I think it's disrespectful to actual veterans of real wars. And two, do they
of course it is.
That's
right.
such
And two, do they really expect people to become that invested in Halo's story? I guess I really dislike Halo, and that ad ain't helping.
And a lot of people are invested in it.
Right. So
I don't know. Did anyone get invested in the God of War story?
The part where you have sex with 2 chicks is pretty hot. Yeah, but Jaffe goes on. I mean, you can go on and read this whole thing. They go on and on.
So
is
Jaffe badmouthing it then, or he seems like he's
At one
defending
point,
it?
his friend Adam says, "quote Fuck."
Who is this Adam anyway?
He's another who works on the team. He says, "quote Fuck Halo."
Fuck Halo.
Right
I
here.
see.
So basically, these guys got on the blog and shared this little conversation of them taking the shit out of Halo.
But what
because of
it
the ads.
sparked is people discussing the disrespect to veterans thing a lot more than it really warrants. It's like when people get on their high horse. Invariably, middle-aged white people saying that something's racist when it isn't, and it's the same thing. It's like trying to appear to be so conscientious when I think it's a good ad. I think it's...
Yeah, I don't think they are offensive in any way. I do think they're slightly pretentious, but that's okay. I like pretentious shit. I like Metal Gear, all right?
Dude, at this point, the series has the right to be pretentious.
Right.
It's at that point. I mean, this is that point of that game.
I'd be more offended by the holding the Master Chief.
My only complaint, I don't even mind the Christ type. I mean, that's a really... people do that all the time. It's a literature convention. My only concern is I wish there was one ad that at the end showed some gameplay, because the game looks good, and not everybody has already bought the Halo mythology and is dying to see what happens. Some of us dabble in Halo and want to see what the game looks like. So that's...
this is all an extension of that when they were talking about it being this generation Star Wars. It's like it's being very presumptuous in terms of the audience response to it, and that there's 2 million pre-orders on the thing already.
Right. Well,
it's already guaranteed to be massive.
That's Jaffe's. If you go and read his shit, what he's saying is they purchased this reverence, that Halo's mythology doesn't really warrant this, but the way Microsoft has delivered it and marketed it, and the fact that you can go to Walmart and buy your Halo 3 in the special demarcated Halo-only checkout lines? Is that really necessary? That's my question.
I think they market it to be bigger than it actually is.
Yeah, but it works. I mean, when you make it to be the biggest media event of all time,
it's not.
Look,
people start believing it,
At the end of the day, the reason it's so popular is because so many people love playing the game, period. And so many people love playing the game to such extent that they're still... I haven't seen the stats in a long time, but I know for a long time in the 360...
Number one
Xbox Live game.
I think one of the things you can tell with the way Halo 3 is positioned is it's got Peter Moore's handprints on it, because it reminds me a lot of 9999, the biggest day in entertainment history. Remember that?
Oh, it really does. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's that whole all right, we've got something big, let's fucking ride it all the way through. And if you say it's bigger than anything enough times, people will start to believe that it's bigger than anything. And it's what Peter has always been very, very good at. And even though now he's not there, I mean, this is his style of marketing.
Yeah.
But what? Halo 3, coming off of Halo 1 and 2, has a hell of a lot more to rest on than Dreamcast did coming off of Saturn. So no wonder it's captivating the audience. No wonder it's so big. And I think that, there's almost probably maybe I'm crazy for saying this, but I think there's almost a nationalistic sense of pride in America over this is our video game opus. This is the ultimate Western game on the ultimate Western gaming machine. It's the big shit that we can put out there and stand up against anything Japan or Europe has ever created.
Wow.
I think people really get into that.
I believe it's true.
It's a possibility.
Well, and one final coded to my news. I don't have a printout for this one, but it's kind of a somber one. As we predicted many months ago, this week FOSSA Interactive officially closed its doors. And you can read a parting statement from Mitch on the website if you like.
Goodbye, Mitch. We
apparently about half of the company was reabsorbed into other branches of Microsoft Game Studios.
We loved having you on, and Mitch, anytime you'd like to come down here and hang out with us, and regale us with tales of Crimson Skies 2 and whatever else you might have cooking out there in the world, feel free to come down and talk to us. For everybody else, you know where to catch us. That would be boards.oneup.com. Next week it'll be Shane, Mark, and I from Tokyo covering TGS.
We'll have many things to talk
The
about.
following week we'll have, I can tell you right now, the second segment next week after that will be Halo 3. We will be digging into Halo 3. We'll have had it.
It's almost here.
I know, it's almost
in
here.
fact, some people in Europe, they already have it. They've had it for about a week, apparently.
Anyway, we'll have had it. We'll played it. We'll also have the Mass Effect hands-on. We'll also have Shane's final level of Crisis. All kinds of stuff to get with us about. If you want to know about anything specific from TGS, of course, hit us on the boards.
Yeah, and sorry for no boards this week. We're just really busy, but it'll be back.
Look at the time right now on your MP3, and you know why we didn't have them. We will definitely have the boards coming back. So for myself, Andrew Fitch, Andrew Pfister, Shane Bettenhausen, John Davison, thanks very much for listening. We appreciate it, and we are out.